that. Hello, Beastie World. I'm gonna adjust Twitter and stuff while we're talking. Do that for right now while I'm doing this.
Okay. Do we wish to use the webinar, or would we prefer to use?
Well, we'll try to use the webinar first.
Okay.
There's only one of them on eBay right now.
Oh. Hello, Sandy. Hi, how are you? No, you're not too late, Thomas. The opening arguments don't start for a little while yet. Something new with Neil. Hi, hello, India.
At what time did we say they should start? 3?
We were supposed to start at I think somewhere near there. Law and Crime says it's going to be an hour and a half, so ish. And Debbie, hi. And of course we have Thomas. Oh nope, wrong one. Ah crap. Thomas's opening argument. This bitch is crazy. Well, don't go too and Neil. Yeah, don't go too crazy with the roses and the chocolate. All right, I think you are actually one of the stage because I think you are probably the camera.
And it's mine. Ha 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 ha. Yes, I just bought the apple scented.
Look, he beat me to it. And by the way, all of our paperwork says Letecia.
I don't care.
Yeah, okay. Iris, hi, and Amanda.
I mean, we can fix spelling. I don't care. If you want to go add some of the hashtags, Croco.
Yeah, I could probably do that. Let me push the magic button here. What do I do with it? Okay.
Brock, make sure you're not me in the chat again. You're not. I'm just saying. Charles.
Charles, hey, long time no visit, man.
Well, no. You know, you guys could ask. I went and found like the last video I could find where Charles had commented, and
It's been a long time.
4 months. I didn't see him, and we've been talking like, "Hey, has anyone seen Charles?" So I left him a comment last night that was like, "Hey, are you okay? We miss you." On his comment from like 4 months ago, and he answered me, and I was very excited.
Hack, spider.
What? Oh. So I was excited. I was excited when I found him. I found our beloved Charles. So I was happy.
All right.
So I'm going to switch us to this view for right now. Later I can make myself big, or I can make the thing big. Amanda, you want really funny? I had a tarantula when I was little. It was like 5 or 6. And I used to walk around holding it, and I had took it out of its cage while I cleaned the cage, and I was sitting on my the coffee table at my parents', and my dad was jet lagged because he had just come back from Switzerland, and not thinking, he rolled up a newspaper and killed the spider. Because he wasn't thinking, just reacted, "Oh, big spider," and then had to tell me he smushed my pet. I didn't let him live that one down for many years. Iris, yes, I do believe they just went to lunch, but I thought I would take this live now so people could wander in, people could share the stream, people that are on YouTube looking for the stream could find it, kind of thing. So and we all like to mess around and make fun of each other. So, hey, we got to have fun somehow.
Somehow or another, it seems that YouTube just hasn't heard, or not
What?
YouTube, Twitter has not heard about this trial.
They should. I just tweeted out about it.
All right. That's not what I wanted. Damn clicky. Shit.
Yeah. I just put it up on my Twitter, so if people want to retweet it.
Yeah, I put a retweet up.
Yeah, I just meant in general. Hey, Nick. How's the UK doing?
Yeah, honestly, Sandy, I wouldn't either. I don't think anybody blames you for that.
Sandy, I mean, they don't bother me, but tarantulas aren't bad. The only issue with tarantulas is you actually do have to get used to them. They have a very mild, like irritating venom on some of their little spines, and it prickles if you're not used to handling them. So, and Patty, the amount of Alani energy drinks and Starbucks cold brew in my refrigerator right now for this trial. And
Wow.
my liquor cabinet.
I think I have some of that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have an entire. I was like redoing my liquor cabinet because my lighting is getting set up downstairs in front of my Starbucks cup and liquor filled china cabinet. Yeah, most people fill their, china cabinet with china and pretty wine glasses. Mine's full of whiskey and Starbucks cups. And skulls, because important.
Oh, that's not so good there, Amanda. Oh, that reminds. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it. Wait.
Oh my god, wait. Amanda, do you mean like Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, she means Dungeons and
So,
Dragons.
I was amused endlessly um, by being obnoxious while I was recovering in the hospital at one point. And I made a set of cursed dice that look like they're made out of SpaghettiOs.
Ooh.
I literally made polymer clay SpaghettiOs and suspended them in like a red jelly tinged epoxy resin. And yet I made an entire set of dice that are cursed because they look like SpaghettiOs. I've done that one. I've done some other like cursed ones that have like eyeballs and things in them.
I have a set of dice right here in my hand with little tears in, steampunk style.
Amanda the kid, I am not the only one that has done it. I actually saw somebody do it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Online.
I forgot to grab the live control room.
Okay. That's where I got it from. Hold on. There is a Reddit page thread called Cursed Dice. These ones look like some of them look like we'll do it this way. That's probably not gonna work. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Yikes.
Delete. Let's delete that. That's not gonna work that way. I'll do it this way. It'll work better.
Okay, now I can set up polls and stuff. And we have 3 different methods for sources. So
Hold on one second. Okay, you got to make sure you're really ready for this, Amanda.
that's cool.
There you go.
Hey, it's Mayor Ranch, Mayor McGnome. Mayor McGnome is at work, so he'll probably be in and out.
That's fine. Yeah, the cursed dice. So after I made them, because I was like highly amused, I started taking like requests from friends when I was in the hospital. I made so many bizarre sets of cursed dice. And they were like weird foods and just weird because I bought the silicone molds for them.
But that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
But yeah, it was funny. People were like, "What is wrong with you?" Yeah, if you go, like, there's literally an entire Reddit thread about cursed dice.
Actually, dice like that, you can actually there are outfits that sell them.
Yeah, there are all over Etsy.
Actually, I know of at least one corporation, D&D Dice. They sell all sorts of weird, all sorts of fun, weird shit.
But I mean, most of the cursed ones you find on Etsy, because most of like the bizarre cursed dice are, strange food themed. These ones are eyeballs. But I just thought the spaghetti one was absolutely hysterical.
I should said Loki. Oh.
I mean, I can make a set for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cookie. I get it. I'm working too. Most of my bosses are doing tornado cleanup.
Hey, Cookie, we'll be here. Mean John, it is. So the skulls that are downstairs for my backdrop, they're actually glass flasks, like for decanting alcohol. And they're corked. I have 3 of them in the background behind me. One's like black glass, one's iridescent glass, and one's like an amber colored. I got them at Halloween, after Halloween last year at like Home Goods or something, to go behind me with, all my whiskeys. But they're working on setting up my lighting and a new 4K camera and stuff.
Building a new studio?
Yeah, although it's in my dining room.
Yeah, I'm in my dining room, but that just pretty much just turned into my office. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, my work office at home can't be where I film.
Right.
Because OSHA.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna put something here in the private chat real quick.
Yep.
I have one of those on the side of my computer.
Yeah. I have one having to do with hedgehogs. That's similar.
Shall I put that? Shall I show the chat what I'm talking about?
No, not right now.
Okay.
You have the glass skull from Dan Aykroyd's vodka. Yeah, these ones are littler. Like these are a little bit bigger than a softball. I did. Um, there's a couple companies that have done skull bottles. There is a really, really nice, very expensive tequila
That stuff is amazing.
that's in a skull.
Yep.
Mm.
I've had some of that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I had bought it for my brother when he and I still were talking, and gave it to him because he was a big tequila person.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Nick has news.
Yay, Nick. Good job.
We should. I don't think. I don't think it should have taken anywhere near that long.
No, and hopefully some of my breaking some of your other communications down helped, Nick. Yeah, I actually have a fully. Hey, Danny. I have a fully articulated cat skeleton. When I was in high school, we had to dissect cats for AMP anatomy and physiology. And when we got done for bonus points, we could put them in with the ants that eat flesh and stuff to clean bone, and then bleach them and rearticulate them for bonus points. And I did it, and I may have gift wrapped it and given it to my brother's then wife, who was a cat lover who I hated.
Oh.
And then I got told I was mean, and it got given back to me. But I was highly amused by it. So I do have it.
I would be. I can just imagine the look on her face when she sees cat skull.
Oh, I sent her the fully articulated skeleton. I wired it together and everything.
Ooh. Again, I can just imagine the look on her face when that happened.
You don't have to. I gave it to her at Hanukkah, and she screamed and tried to fight me. All 4'11" of her.
Oh, is this the still sister-in-law?
No, this was the one that he divorced before Thunder Twonk, the two-legged twat monkey.
Eesh.
Yeah, this was the one before Thunder Twonk.
What is it with this guy and his taste in women?
Oh, my brother?
Yeah.
Oh, the human that used to be referred to as my brother? I don't know. I can tell you that when he moved out, like when the first wife kicked him out, shortly before that, I may have gotten a small child who might or might not have been my niece or nephew, but that belonged to my sister, to go hunting for a jar, and when asked what he was looking for, got him to respond, the jar with Uncle so-and-so's nuts in it, so we can take them back.
Ouch.
Might have got yelled at for that
Loki.
too. What?
Loki? Damn
What?
it.
What?
Waterloo black cherry water all over the computers. Thank you.
Sorry.
Try not to do that.
They were like, "What are you looking for?" And you hear this little kid voice. And Steffi said, and Loki said, "There's a jar with Uncle so-and-so's nuts in them, and I need them." She said he needs them back.
Oh.
This is why we love Loki.
Yikes.
I got in trouble for that one too.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a
So-
twist on the snipe hunt.
Didn't say I cared. I was just amused.
Just like the keys to the drop zone.
Hey, Opal. What, Amanda? What's the yeesh? I didn't. She was obnoxious.
Bye, Opal. Bye, Opal. Yep, get the squeezings off the cow. Have fun.
She was a horrible human being.
As opposed to the new one, who's probably worse, or at least as bad. From what I hear.
Well, they're worse in different ways. I mean, the first one at my Sweet 16. So, I'm allergic to bananas. Like, I will stop breathing allergic. And my Sweet 16, my dad rented out the the party section, like a main part of the dining room at the Hard Rock in town.
Okay.
Like the restaurant. And you could order anything you wanted off the menu, as much as you wanted, open food, open bar, The only alteration was they were not allowed to serve the bananas foster or anything I'm fatally allergic to. Because I didn't want to have to obsess about contamination, right? It's my Sweet 16. And she threw an all-out temper tantrum, accused me of faking my allergy for attention, and then got my brother to say, biologically, I may be your brother, but I'll never be the brother that you want me to be. And walk out of my Sweet 16.
Oh, damn.
So, it was game on after that.
Oh, yeah.
Thunder Twunk deserved what she got.
No, that one was the troll. Every time I would see her, I would say, hey, your village called. They are really pissed off that you left the bridge unattended again. Please return to your post under the bridge. You have been told about leaving your post. You need to go back. Your village called. Stop abandoning your post under the bridge. She wasn't appreciative. Oh, well. She was a bridge troll. She was 4'11". My brother's 6'9". Looked like a troll. About the same height as one. Meh. Like, if you poke the bear too much.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose Patty? Did she spit things out?
No.
I'm still here. I'm trying not to laughing.
You can laugh.
Not to the laughing I want to do, because, I don't need to spit any more water on my computers.
Okay. We are going to...
What? What's wrong,
Hey,
Croc?
John, we don't have that. We don't have that conversation about my ex-wife. I've been told that that's rude.
What's wrong, Croc?
The webinar died. They killed the webinar, and now I don't know, and now we're not sure how to get access to it again. Because that particular one is over. I'd have to try and find a link to the. Have to try and find a link.
Did you? What's on the law and crime feed?
I still have the law and crime feed, and they are currently in a holding pattern for the next 67 minutes.
Just give me a minute on that one.
Do you want to pull it?
Well, I have it for right now. I have it open in a different tab until it goes live, since mine is premium. So there won't be any ads on it.
Well, I use an ad blocker regardless, so.
But I'm just saying, it's just easier.
Wait, what?
Law and crime went full paywall for the stream.
That doesn't look right, because I'm actually showing it.
I'm looking at it.
because I don't think they're actually allowed to put a paywall up for it.
They're not. 3:30 p.m.
Well, it's 2:30 there now, isn't it?
Yeah, it says 3:30 they'll be back from lunch. But I don't see the paywall for it.
No, I've got it here on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm looking. I didn't know. That's what I have up right now, Mean John.
I have something else entirely.
What do you have? That's the link you sent me. It's counting down and people are talking in the chat.
That's not the post from Mean John isn't the same.
It's the same?
No, it is not. That's not the same. It's not the same link. It starts with XR, and the one I've got is B capital H.
Yeah, that's what I have right now, John. So
they want $2 a month.
Who?
Law and Crime on this on the link that.
Didn't you get a new Patreon today?
Well, yes, I did.
Well, I mean, if I have to subscribe for $2 a month, I will.
I don't know.
He got a new Patreon from me today, which would cover it.
Which is fine. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Croc will figure it out.
Like I said, I have a link here that's actually showing the chat and etc. I don't know what the.
We'll figure it out. I mean.
Oh, I see what's going on. It's the Law and Crime channel as opposed to the Law and Crime Network, which is what I'm on. Hello, Ardo.
Hey, Ardo.
Hi, Ardo.
Okay, that's why there's a difference. Okay, we can do. I could pull this off. You know, got the first week for free, so
whatever, we can do it.
It can be done.
It's
raining. Well, we'll see. If we need to deal with it, we'll deal with it. But right now, we'll go with this one. We'll do what we need to do until we figure it out.
Right.
And this is why I warned everybody last night that, you know, there might be a few little speed bumps depending on, you know, if the WebEx crashed or whatever.
Well, WebEx did exactly that. Well, it didn't crash. It was just ended. So I'd have to go back and see if I can find another link, maybe.
Hold on.
It sounds like they killed it for lunch.
Yeah, hold on.
All right, I'm going to mute for a couple minutes.
Yep, go for it. Just gonna trying to see if I can find the WebEx guys.
I'd like to have a couple of dozen of those. Krakow sent me a link for a bumper sticker.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. So we've got dead air going right now. Isn't that fun?
yeah. Hold on, guys.
Signature. Date.
That's a random person on YouTube.
Ardo, I'm sorry. I should have sent you a message, but I don't have contact info for you. You're not in the Discord for Loki.
Let me see, guys. Hold on.
So let's give everybody some info.
Okay,
What do you
give people
say?
all the info you'd like to give. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to.
That's okay.
Ardo,
All right,
hard
everybody.
pass.
If-
Nobody wants to see that.
all right. If anybody wants to see the Discord, wants to keep up with us there, we do post there when Loki's going to go live. If you love Loki, since she's not yet monetized, we have options. Help her
Lots and
support
lots
our
and lots.
lair. You know that she does take the money. She doesn't use it for her. She uses it for things like we need flowers for CCW, or maybe we need to get a plane ticket to get somebody home for important events. So
Or
you can
there's
do
something
Venmo.
you guys want
Yeah. Yep.
me to review, since like those leggings were $100 for garbage swooshy leggings.
Yep. Yep. And then, of course, if you want to reach her directly,
You can reach me
I
directly
believe,
in lots of
yep,
places.
there's your email.
Yep.
Do you want me to list Mr. Crocco's stuff for
You
his Discord?
may. You can
Okay.
yes, everybody's.
Let's get a hold of Crocco.
Crocco.
Why?
I just put the Reddit post that has the link for the WebEx
Oh, good.
in the private.
Cool.
Helps if I paste it on there. And let's see.
Yeah, that works. It all works, loves.
And then
And as of now, the Long Crime Trial Network's still up, so
and
it's
there's
fine.
that one. And then at some point we will need this one because
Debbie, I'm not. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it will, but we'll figure it out.
Loki, do you like
We
how
will.
efficient I was getting all that info up?
You are. You're amazing. Because
Okay.
I has the bestest community ever.
Yeah, I finally figured out how I can store stuff on the new computer. It took a couple of weeks.
Ooh, wait. Who's talking about egg rolls? Wait, what?
Debbie has.
Spider
Yeah,
Sped got
Iris,
egg rolls. I'm good.
I did say to review stuff. So Remember the lovely stream where I reviewed the god awful pink holster and the leggings? Yes, the garbage leggings. By the way, Iris, not I'm not implying anything yeah, but with how they're cut, would you like the black leggings? I think they'd probably fit your daughter. Um, I think they'd probably fit your daughter because of how stretchy they are. And if she would wear them, I will gladly mail them to you. Um, the
Ooh,
problem is because the words like the white patch, the we the people are in the shape of an AR, it affects who I can give them to. Because a lot of my friends are like, I don't want someone that's got a gun on them.
yeah. There you go.
So,
There's an
okay,
answer.
yeah, Iris, DM me and I'll mail them. Yeah, Debbie, it was the night in the ER, but they're $100 leggings almost. So, yeah, well, America, and you're in Texas. And while they don't fit me, they are very stretchy and, they're not my style. But if she trashes them, who cares? And she doesn't care if they're like shiny or make noise. So I'd rather them go to somebody. Yeah, I review if you're like, oh, what about these holsters? What about these leggings? Hey, Anubis. Um, or what about this vest or anything? That's where the money that any money I get through PayPal, Venmo for the channel, that's where it goes. I keep a second account for products to review. I do not, when I'm reviewing like gun lube or gun cleaning supplies, I do not accept product for review unless I have a contract from the company that says, or unless the company, I won't accept it if there's any restriction on what I can say. I would rather buy it myself and review it. I don't do sponsored stuff that I would not already buy or haven't already used and test it out for long periods of time. I'm not willing to sell my opinion or let my opinion be bought just for some money. You guys mean more to me than that, in all honesty. And in all honesty, what I'm reviewing isn't just lipstick or lip gloss. If someone doesn't disclose to you a makeup sponsorship or gives you, not the most honest review about makeup or some video game, it's not a big deal. If I give a biased review about ammunition or gun cleaning stuff, you can destroy a firearm, someone can get hurt in a situation.
Waiting for that.
So they make lipstick for guns. I don't know if they do, but they do make literal a bottle that says gun lube. And it looks like something you would find at an adult store. And but it's meant for firearms. But hey. So yeah, that's what I use the money for. Flowers, or if we have to send a lair member, help them get home for a funeral, help a loyal lair member with whatever. That's where I put all money towards. A donate, like right now, all the money I get were people that um have been sending money with like a tagline for CCW for his grandson for that charity. I'll make a donation and then I'll post the receipt up so everyone can see it. So, I mean, Creed, you can write commercials for, a script for Gunlube, and I can. Oh, Thomas. Thomas.
Yeah, we have Thomas.
Yeah, Ardo, I know people that have done it with like public monuments. Like there was a show on TLC about a lady that was married to the Berlin Wall, one that was married to the Eiffel Tower. I mean, like, whatever floats your boat, but
I don't know. There's a guy in Japan who married a hollow idol, and then they deprecated the software shortly after, so he has no access.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm like, why are you in a relationship with the Berlin Wall? The worst part of it is there's like 6 or 7 women that claim to be married to the Berlin Wall. And part of me has questions. The majority does not have questions. The majority does not want to know. But there is that little part of the Loki brain that's like, wait, what?
Yes.
Hold on. There's literally wait, Patty?
Yes.
Is your mouth empty?
Yes.
Part of me wants to know. Part of me wants to know how like 6 or 7 people can be married to the Berlin Wall, but a certain law tuber can't get a date when he is paying someone to run his dating profile online.
Well, you see, the Berlin Wall is attractive, and he is not.
But you're literally paying people to manage your online dating, and an inanimate object is married to multiple women. I have questions.
Well, it's not an inanimate object; it's just an object.
For a long gone chunk of wall has a harem. Kurt can't seem to get anything going.
Oh no, Creed, they know about the 6 timing. They know about it. I was watching the show about it, and they all like met up in Germany. Literally,
we are talking about Kurt.
In Germany, they met up and they all like talked about their marriage to the Berlin Wall and sharing it.
Well, the Berlin Wall was quite a long feature. You would think that maybe they just like split it up amongst themselves or something.
I mean, I'm just saying. Anubis, you are beautiful. You are beautiful, Anubis.
We are talking about
what
Kurt.
is on the outside. Looks on the outside may change. Who you are as a person does not. Debbie, Do not feel sorry for him. If you knew who he was offline, as Patty and Croc can attest, you would not. And he monetized my cancer. So I will leave it at that. He is when somebody tells you that they should be your number one priority over your child or your chemotherapy and is mad that you prioritized your chemotherapy and child over them, that's not cool.
He's not going to make a very good step parent.
He won't. And now he's back to not wanting. And Debbie, he monetized my cancer. He held a fundraiser for thyroid cancer. And the entire, and told everyone it was a fundraiser. And the entire time had a banner at the bottom of the screen scrolling that said, if you would rather donate to me than to the charity, here's my PayPal. Send the money to me, not the charity. And I found that distasteful.
Yeah,
you can ask Patty for confirmation of that.
Hell, I saw that. I saw that live stream and clicked off.
Yeah, he had it.
I watched.
Popping up in
I was appalled.
It was popping up in the chat. He had it going across the bottom of the screen of how to not donate to the charity, how to donate to him if you didn't want to donate to the charity. You don't hold something. You don't hold something out as a charity live stream and then tell people how to donate to you personally, not the charity. You do not tell somebody that their cancer treatment should not take priority over them visiting you.
First order of business, survival.
Danny, you know, and you also do not take somebody and absolutely berate them by name on screen when literally they are doing exactly what you are asking them to do behind the scenes.
All right, so Sandy has some interesting descriptions here.
I mean, Danny, that sounds cute in all honesty.
It does.
Sod, that is true.
I stopped watching the day he cussed out one of his viewers.
I mean, he cursed me out repeatedly online.
That was the second one that I heard him cuss out. When I don't need to watch you anymore.
Yeah, Creed, he was on my channel, and as everybody can tell you, if you weren't a member then when he was on my channel, he berated my oncologist in the middle of a live stream on my channel, and I yeeted him like mid-sentence.
Debbie, you're not wrong. Yeah, I have questions.
So,
but if you've got a question for me, I have an answer. I can't guarantee they'll match, but I have an answer of some description.
But yeah, I have said to many people you might as well, generally females, you might as well eat your makeup. Maybe it'll make you pretty on the inside because it's not helping the outside. So,
Yes, the truth in all things. Sod.
mhm,
All right. And there is Creed's experience.
mhm.
Honestly, I'd rather pet that shark than
Yeah, Mean John, there's a lot of that. But we all know that I have no filter. So when he called my oncologist a moron and started like demanding names, I was like, peace! And yeeted him mid sentence.
okay. Hello, Caroline.
Hey, Caroline. Well, Debbie, I can promise you, and hopefully after being, you've been here for quite a while. Hopefully you guys have all realized that you can trust me because I have absolutely zero filter.
Filters, what are those?
If I think it is going to come out of my mouth, I mean, we all know this by now. And then Patty yells at me because she spits things out on her computer like water.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's not alcohol. That would be alcohol abuse.
At one point you did. I don't remember what I think I made you spit out during the New Mexico trial.
You've made me spit all kinds of crap. You've also
Pizza.
made
You
me not
spit
have to go
pizza.
find my inhaler.
Yeah, you spit out pizza.
Well, the dogs were happy though.
Sometimes the unfiltered stuff is way funnier.
I think that's why most people watch me because they know I have no filter. Yeah, Iris. Hence my comment when they're pretty on the outside. I'm like, hey, go eat all that makeup you got slathered on. Maybe it'll make you pretty on the inside too. Anubis, there we go. Everybody, this is your reminder. Make sure you've changed your air filters, smoke detector batteries. I don't know.
The batteries in the smoke detector here work just fine. Thank you very much. Sigh.
Oh my god. So speaking of filters and all of that stuff, wait. I know some of you have heard this. Hold on, wait. Did you guys know I'm a catfish? I'm not real. Are you ready?
Oh, jeez.
Are you ready to see that I'm not real?
Sure.
See, I look nothing like my profile picture. Yeah, nothing. I got called a catfish the other day. Somebody left a mean comment saying that I was a catfish.
Yeah, that stream was. I think that if I remember correctly, that stream was last night, and yeah,
There was
I heard his
two.
list of dates.
There was two. Yeah, no, someone was like, "You're a catfish. It's all edited. This isn't what you look like. Stop catfishing people." Okay.
Anubis has a question.
I don't know. I just thought it was funny that somebody was convinced that I'm not real. Like literally, they were mad, and they're like, "You're not real." How much Facetune did you use? I'm like, none. I exist. Oh, here's the other one you guys will love. So my brother and I went on a date. Woohoo, sod.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother and I went on a date. Somebody, when my brother was still dating, hold on, Mean John. Somebody stole my pictures and used them on their dating profile and ended up catfishing my brother.
Oh.
Or trying to. They literally, like, were talking to my brother. And he was like, "Why are you talking to me on the dating app?" I'm like, I'm not. And he sent me the picture and I was like, "Oh my god. Somebody literally used my pictures and ended up trying to catfish my brother with my picture." So he set up a date at Starbucks and I walked in and sat down. Like, he walked in and sat down and was sitting there. And no, they didn't know it was my brother. They just stole my picture off Instagram or Facebook when it was years ago. And I mean, I am close to West Virginia, but so when my brother got to the coffee shop, he spotted the person and walked in, looked around, and walked over to the bathroom. And I came in and sat down and was like, "Hi." This girl took one look at me and was like, I said, "Maybe just FYI, maybe don't try to pick up my brother using my picture. If you're going to steal someone's picture for a dating profile, maybe don't use one from the same town that you're searching for a date in."
Mm-hmm. I wonder what she was. I have wondered what she was going to say.
Her plan was, when he realized, to be like, "But we've been talking, and you're in love with me, or you like me, and so you said you liked me for me, and if you don't like me for me, you're shallow." No, he probably just cares that you're not a liar, but again, I would choose a bigger. I would pick a different zip code when you're choosing whose picture to steal, because that's my brother.
Yeah, get someone on the other side of the continent from you.
I don't know how much, he's in California now, but it was like great. I'm like, you literally are trying to pick up people I went to high school with who know me. But yeah. So I'm always amused. The amount, just everybody, the amount, the sheer amount of coffee that is downstairs and Alani energy drinks that I have in preparation for this trial is unhealthy. There will be highly caffeinated Loki snark for the next several days, weeks, whatever. As long as you guys are showing up and interested, I'll be here and caffeinated and amused.
We need you caffeinated.
Oh, I literally bought six of the big bottles of the Starbucks cold brew with oat milk. And 2 cases of the energy drink. It'll be fun.
You'll be fine.
Um,
You'll be fine.
Creed, what did the bio say? Oh, it was just like just a girl looking for her love. Not, yeah, I'm not shallow, like whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really read it. I just amused myself laughing. Mean John, that's not decaf. That is a huge amount of caffeine. That is not decaf. That's highly caffeinated. And I don't need caffeine as much as everybody else needs me to have caffeine. Because me, without caffeine, Croc has called me and gotten in touch with me without caffeine. You can ask him how unpleasant I am.
Nah, you're not unpleasant. You're just not happy.
Yeah, that was a fun rock. Yikes.
Thomas, you have my permission to use my picture on a dating site. If you are going to be who shows up on the date, I will send you more pictures to use.
Because that would be hilarious.
Because go for it, Thomas. Yeah, I mean, I was notorious for getting out of like the call on like out of my SWAT vehicle, like drinking coffee on a seat, and like I would just walk over to an officer and be like, "Hold this." Do what I had to do and take my coffee back. Your wife and I can go on a date. I'll go out here. I'll take your wife on a date. Beautiful woman. I will take her on a date.
Okay.
Mean John. I don't know, Ardo. How much caffeine isn't it? Thank you, JMK. Loki loves all the love from you. You know I love my beasties. Funny thing about this, Anubis, did you hear what just happened in New Jersey?
Ooh, new tea.
Did you a lot of people know so Coca-Cola, the soft drink used to actually have cocaine in it, right?
Yep.
Well, the only company in the United States that is allowed to import coca leaves from like the coca plant legally is the Coca-Cola processing facility and company in New Jersey, because they process the Coca-Cola, like the coca leaves. They process it, remove the opioid or the opiate, like all the drugs that gets sent to Malincrot Pharmaceuticals, who use it in their pharmaceutical, their controlled substances, and the flavoring that they get from the leaves is they use for the drinks, and they just had to renew their permit to their import permits for cocaine. And I was highly amused. I was highly amused. This, let me see. Give me this right here. Hold on. I'm going to show this. I'm going to show this to you. To everybody. Everybody has to see the absolute ridiculousness that is. Why am I echoing?
Ask Patty.
Who's
Pate.
echoing? What? What?
You're making me echo.
figure.
You're the ones that when one of us speaks, you do you'll ring around your spirit horse there flashes just a bit.
Wait, where's
Well,
my drinks? Oh,
let me go in and try and fix.
I gotta find
She'll
a
be back
drink
in a minute.
because it's epic. Oh, here's a good one. Here's amazing flavor. Here we go. This is what I drink. This particular flavor, Cosmic Stardust, it tastes like sweet tarts. It tastes just like sweet tarts.
Okay, Patty's back.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Croco.
Yeah, I saw it.
Is this
No
better?
Carolina flashes. So yeah, good luck with that, dude. Good luck.
JMK. Cosmic Stardust, that tastes like sweet tarts. They have a sour apple version, a Hawaiian shaved ice flavor, rainbow ice flavor. They have one that tastes like the red, white, and blue bomb pops. One that tastes like red Slurpees. Yes, the Alani Nu energy drinks are amazing, and they have like far less chemicals and weird stuff than Monster or Red Bull or Rockstar. But they do contain. They do contain. Let's see how much caffeine exactly is in this one.
No.
Let me look. Yeah, they have retro rainbow candy, peach, creamsicle, witch's brew, cherry slush, blue slush, Hawaiian shaved ice, tropsical mimosa, watermelon wave, cosmic stardust, breeze berry. In the summer, they do a bomb pop flavor. They do seasonal flavors. It's got 200 milligrams of caffeine,
For what size can?
12 ounce.
Yikes.
I have a whole case.
Ooh.
Opal, opening arguments have not happened yet. They are supposed to start in 22 minutes. I have the stream ready to go. Ardo, their sour apple is amazing. Creed,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought her name was Daybell at this point.
Valo Daybell. Hold on one second. Hey, John. Would you like a link? The opening arguments are supposed to start in 21 minutes. Debbie, they were swearing in the jury and doing the housekeeping this morning. Croc, you want to send the link to him?
Yeah, give me a second. I'll take care of it. It'll be over here in just a second.
Yeah. Yeah, Amanda, I've had the charged lemonades, and lots of them, they don't affect me. The amount of caffeine I consume, like I will drink 7 or 8 of those Alani News over the course of the stream for this trial. You will be scraping me off the ceiling.
Because ceilings are fun.
16 years in public safety and being, when you're the sniper, you really don't want to be shaking from caffeine withdrawal, and you really don't want me falling asleep or being sleepy. So, all the caffeine. I can function for days.
Okay, Debbie, yes. It will be in
Yes.
the morning tomorrow.
Yes, Debbie, it'll start in the morning and you will go all day until they end. And I has
They-
all the caffeine. All the caffeine.
Yeah, they finished up jury selection and swearing them in, so no double jeopardy has been attached.
All the caffeine.
Yes, Creed.
Yes,
that
yes,
is
Creed. This is
correct.
this is the very educated lady that wants kosher food, even though she's not a Jew, and is concerned about the death threats in peanut butter.
Yeah, don't we tend not to want to swear at the jury.
Thomas, get on this. Thomas, you are slacking in your job. Get on this.
He was busy.
No, but oh, that's fine, John. I'm sure that's fine. I'll have Croc send you a link if you want to join me. Join me.
I already sent it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, no pressure. It's all good. It's all good.
Caffeine.
Maybe,
Because yeah,
maybe if I get big enough one day, I can get my own flavor of Alani.
Ooh.
I don't even know what if I collabed with an energy drink. I don't know. I'd have to think about what flavor I would make it. I would probably name it something like, Loki Romanian, vampire blood or something. Since everyone was convinced I was a Romanian vampire for so long. Yes, Sandy. The kosher but not kosher educated person that confused the word metal and mental.
Yeah.
Creed is kosher. Creed, I love you. Literally the amount of love right now. Kosher salt, Jewish. Well, one is a religion, but kosher salt is the same salt. It's just it's the same
Sodium
as
chloride.
table salt. Yeah, it's sodium chloride, but it's a much larger granule size, and that's why you cannot 1-to-1 swap it out, because things will be far saltier because it's a much smaller granule size. That's the only difference. It's like sea salt flaky versus super finely milled. That's the only difference between kosher salt and regular.
Here is the Thomas again.
Tasty yet tactical as salt peanut butter. Yeah, John, it's flakier. It's just like bigger chunks of salt. Rammstein. Okay. Instant. I mean, in all honesty, me and John, I think I kind of already meet that criteria without trying how pale I am and the black hair and the standard trademark red lips. My mom used to call, you guys saw when I had my extensions in and I always had it in pigtails. My mom called me Wednesday Addams for the majority of my life. or Morticia, because I'm so pale and I used to wear braided pigtails because I'm a goalie for hockey and you can't have a ponytail that's up high. I had to French braid my hair into pigtails so my helmet would fit over my hair. So I always looked like Wednesday Addams. And I am by far the palest person in the room always. There's only 2 brands of foundation that make foundation light enough. And I joke my foundation shade is liquid paper. Just go to Office Max. Liquid paper. Yeah, it actually isn't ritual butchering, but it was used to preserve things in a kosher manner. That's what it was from. And to abide by the whole no bugs. It's not as finely milled because you could accidentally finely mill non-kosher particles into it. Let's go. Sandy, peanut butter napalm. Peanut butter thermite for all. If you know the thermite story, you know. John, even when I lived in Florida, I was this pale. Funny story. I'm allergic to the sun. That doesn't help I'm not a vampire claim. If I go out in the sun, although Nick Ricada commented on it the other day that he has a heat allergy, he breaks out in hives. If I go out in the sun without like the long sleeve UPF 50 shirts, my skin immediately breaks out in hives and blisters.
Yee.
And I joke that I am a translucent bag of like hair and teeth, like some of those fish that you see at the bottom of the ocean that in the Marianas Trench that have never seen light. I'm Dayglow. Hey, intellectual.
Hi, intellectual.
Here's one from Patty.
Yeah. Yes and no. That Patty or like the mid, like the, the cargo short tan lines. Yeah, Danny, I use like the Super Goop UPF 100 and I slather it on every couple of hours.
Blanche.
I have to slather it on, and
Here's good
even
girl.
with UPF 50 or 100, I still wear long sleeves and am covered constantly because I break out in hives. So
There's probably a reason for that, I.
yeah, pretty much.
Agreed. It does.
Ardo, I'm allergic to cold too. I can't do extreme temperatures. I break out in hives. It has to do with my autoimmune issue. It's actually heat and cold intolerance to the point of allergy is actually a huge red flag for an autoimmune disorder. Huge red flag. Yeah, Anubis, when I went to college in Tampa, I was in, shorts and everybody else was wearing like North Face jackets. I'm like, it's like shorts and swimming, but In Pittsburgh, we have people wearing shorts in 40-degree weather. 50-degree weather. No snow, wear shorts.
All right, and here's it. Wait, get back here. I would think
Yeah,
that while we were
John,
looking
you
at this-
should. I love the smell of cordite in the morning. I actually have a candle that smells like gunpowder and cordite. It's hot. It smells sexy. Iris, you gotta change your name back. Merca.
I'm not sure that she can actually. They may not let her.
No, I'm just joking. She knows what I was talking about from the one stream. Aw. It's great. Let's see. Yeah, Amanda, there is, but I just wear, a baseball cap. But I very rarely am outside, and I am this pale naturally. Everyone's like, "Why is your foundation so pale?" It's not foundation. Why my neck matches. I'm just this white. Hourglass, I think, is one of the only foundation makeup brands that makes foundation pale enough for me. Even the Kat Von D stuff that was originally like meant for goth people, their lightest one sometimes runs too dark for me. Yeah, I'm really tall and really, really pale. Um, Wednesday, or the Norse god of deception. Yeah, I mean, I liked the Wednesday Adams thing. Never bothered me. I call that or Morticia. Why not? Um, Intellectual, but you wear it right. Ooh. Caroline, I don't go with Clown White Circus makeup yet. I always say that I always tell people just go to Office Max and buy liquid paper. It's closer. There's actually several makeup companies that sell a pure white pigment that you can add into foundation to, make it slightly lighter. It's meant for like 1 or 2 drops to make it more pale. And I have to like mix a whole bunch of it. So you'll find this funny. Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, they are the CMU the tartans. It's literally the Carnegie Mellon University tartans, and the tartan plaid they use is a combination of the Mellon family and like Andrew Carnegie and the Mellon family ones. And the mascot is a Scotty dog wearing a tartan scarf. Their marching band is kilted. And my brother looked into being a part of it when he was a student there. And apparently, one of their hazing rituals is you have to do a cartwheel in your kilt as a freshman. And you have to wear it appropriately. Nobody wants to see that. If you're white, you're in the minority. My brother was the only white kid that graduated his program. Everyone else was Indian or Asian. He was the lone white kid, which was really awkward because he's 6'9". So he really stood out.
I bet.
Yeah, it was. Jay Robine, it's the white pigment isn't lead based. It's a makeup safe one. It's a makeup mix and it's meant for makeup artists that want to just like adjust foundation shades a tiny bit for different people. Yeah, it is sod. It's just titanium dioxide. It flashes back.
Yeah, titanium dioxide is actually not terrible.
Yeah, it's just a TD suspension. Um, I don't think the CMU kilts are actually wool. I do know that my old if how many of my people are a fan of the Dropkick Murphys?
I don't have a foggiest idea what you're talking about.
It's a band. The Dropkick Murphys. I love the Dropkick Murphys. Hold on. Now you're gonna make me go down this rabbit hole. I can't talk.
For the record, the dog you hear in the background, it belongs to the neighbors, and there's nothing I can do about it. Or somebody that's visiting the neighbors. I'm not sure. It's somebody else's pet beaver. Oh, ow.
The Murphys. Let's find it. I am not going to play more than a few seconds of this. Hold on.
This is absolutely true, I. I've been there and done that. It sucked. I'm not doing it again. I'd rather wear a thinner kilt in the middle of winter.
Hold on. I'm only going to post this for a few seconds. The Murphys.
Mm-hmm.
Dropkick Murphys are fucking awesome. So my partner on the ambulance has one of my old partners had a band, and he still does, and they opened for the Murphys. So my old partner's a guy named Jimmy Smarecki. Let's see if I can find his band.
And no, Creed, it's not.
What? They're called the Bastard Bearded Irishmen.
Oh.
Hold on.
Okay.
So this is a link so you can see the guy. So the lead singer Jimmy Smarecki is my old partner from the ambulance. He used to be a paramedic. He would literally sit there singing "Let It Go" over the PA system mic in like 3 minutes. It was hysterical. He was just like random. It'd be like 3 a.m. and he's singing random shit. They opened for the Murphys on tour. Yeah, the BBIs. And Jimmy wears a tactical kilt made by 511 Tactical that's got cargo pockets. Now, the problem is Jimmy wears it the right way, and Jimmy is also notorious for being Jimmy and climbing, literally climbing and scaling the framework around stages and things. God bless his wife. So we're going to do this now.
So they should be just about ready.
Why doesn't it want to let me full screen it?
Should be in the lower right hand corner.
Yeah, it may not be until they take the placeholder down and the actual video starts.
Yeah, that would be a thing.
Yeah, Creed. He dressed up like if you search, there's actually it's on YouTube somewhere. He filmed himself literally in a freaking Elsa dress and wig in the middle of winter singing "Let It Go" for his kids. It was hysterical. Jimmy has 0 fucks to give.
Okay.
Oh my god, I can we convince you to go to the courthouse if they end up screwing with the stream? Can we?
Please, please, please. We'd love that.
Oh my god.
Yes.
And there is Thompson's opening statement once again. This time I caught it quick enough we could actually get it on screen.
Oh, and I will say, Creed, I will say that everyone always says like do chest compressions to staying alive by the Bee Gees. That you can also do them to Another One Bites the Dust, Dragula, and
Rob Zombie.
The other one. Well, no, yeah, but there's another one. Another One Bites the Dust, Dragula. There's a couple other inappropriate ones you can do.
Well, now you know. But we want to kind of keep an open mind. Who knows? There might actually be evidence in her favor. I doubt it, but there might, maybe. Remember, innocent until proven guilty. There we go. They got it.
Hey, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how they manage this.
Debbie, she allegedly killed her 11-year-old stepchild.
No, she is not pro se, Amanda. She finally decided to skip that part, and crap, I didn't get that quite.
Amanda, she was pro se, and then she unpro se'd herself.
Well, she started off.
CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury's not present in the courtroom. What we're going to do is let the people into the courtroom now, and then we will bring in the jurors in a moment. Are you ready to go on hooked up? And are you going to be using any electronic stuff? You're going to be plugged in from there, the podium.
Better, Croc?
We're plugged in.
Let's go down.
We're gonna do it.
No, I don't care. I just need to.
Over here.
Hold on.
I just need to know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I will turn off the perimeter lights when we get there, so that everybody can see. And so let's go ahead and let them in.
Oh, yikes. Do you want me to check the other law and crime feed? See what that looks like?
You can, but I think this is just for now. Let's see how the sound is.
This is looking mildly choppy.
There we go.
We'll figure it out. You can look behind.
You're using that Ms. Gratiano, you're using that laptop, right? That's what should be coming up
Are
on the screen.
Sound-wise, guys?
It's still way too loud.
Yep.
It's still way too loud?
Way too loud.
Shouldn't be. How is it now?
Wait till he starts talking again. Because he's really close to his mic.
The problem is I can't turn it down so like a tremendous amount.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I turned myself down, but it'll mess with people hearing me.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's coming in hot. I don't know if it's the camera right next to him.
Yeah, intellectual. Once she started refusing to go to the library, the law library and stuff, they revoked the whole, and they're going to go for NGRI, which is not guilty by reason of insanity defense, which is a whole other thing that John can join in with the discussion of. John, you should have the link.
Yeah, he's got it on Twitter.
That's fine. I'm just saying. And I will turn. We can mess with the camera a little bit once they settle in.
Yeah, we can see right up that nose.
Oh, there's no bats in his belfry, so it's okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and bring the jury in.
Not only that, but she took him from Colorado clear to Florida.
And then to South Carolina.
Oh no! She was
Well, that's
arrested.
where they picked her up
without him. She kicked him off. She kicked the suitcase off a bridge somewhere in Florida.
In
That's
Florida, yeah. Okay, how's that sound?
A little better.
I mean, I have it turned way down.
Yeah, he's just hot. That's all.
I'm just saying, I have him turned way, way down.
He's just hot on that mic.
Yeah, but I can only do so much.
Yeah, I know. Okay, they moved it back, and we can now see a larger share of the courtroom.
Yes, now I'm not like trying to figure out what size nasal airway I would have to intubate him with.
Using this for bench conferences, or okay.
Yep, she dumped it off a bridge somewhere in I think it was Central Florida. They found him a couple weeks later, and then
she was in South Carolina when they found her.
They found her on her way back. She was in North Carolina. South Carolina. She tried to, and then somewhere in Kansas, she decided she was going to attack a guard.
Leavenworth.
At
Fort Leavenworth, when they stopped for the night.
I'm
That's fine, John.
I'm
Whenever.
actually checking it again. All rise for the jury, please.
Okay, guys.
Yes.
Let's see how this
He's
goes.
John says he's waiting on a cat, and then he'll drop it when he
Unless
gets
I
home.
turn them
I have
on.
no
Cab.
idea how those two things come together.
Yeah, it's fine. Just, guys, let me know how the sound is, and I will try to adjust it as best as we can.
Thank you. May all be seated. Court will call 20 CR 135A, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. When we took our recess, I told you that we would start with opening statements at this point in time, and that's where we will begin. Again, remember that nothing that the attorneys say is evidence. This is this is sort of an overview of what they believe the evidence will show. With that, prosecution.
Wonder how long this is going to run.
We'll see. But we're here for it.
Go ahead.
No, I was asking.
You want it now? Go ahead. Okay.
And if you want to dim the lights, I'm fine.
I can't, actually, I thought this was for perimeter lights like it is in my courtroom, but it's not. Their panel is up there. If you want to dim the perimeter lights, it's up to you. Okay. All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Paramount question you will have to answer as jurors in this case has to do with sanity, specifically the defendant's sanity. At the conclusion of the evidence, the court will give you jury instructions. One specific jury instruction will talk specifically about insanity. It will read that as to the question of sanity, the defendant was insane at the time of the commission of the acts if she was so diseased or defective in mind at the time of the commission of the acts as to be incapable of distinguishing right from wrong with respect to that act, or she suffered from a condition of mind caused by a mental disease or defect that prevented her from forming a culpable mental state. That is an essential element of a crime charge. A culpable mental state is like an intentionally or knowingly. Evidence in this case will show that she could distinguish between right and wrong, and that she was absolutely capable of forming the specific intent required for these charges. Those instructions will go on to give specific guidance on what qualifies as a mental disease or defect. Because care should not be taken to confuse mental disease or defect with moral obliquity, mental depravity, passion growing out of anger, revenge, or hatred, or other motives and kindred evil conditions. Because when an act is induced by any of these causes, the ones that I just listed, the person is accountable to the law, meaning that person can be found guilty for committing crimes charged. You should consider the evidence you will hear in this case in context with that instruction. This case is about two people. First is Gannon Jacob Stauch, an 11-year-old little boy, came into this world premature, weighing just 1 pound 6 ounces. He proved to be a fighter, overcame the difficulties associated with being born so small. He's survived by his mother, Landon Hyatt, his father, Al Stauch, and his precocious little sister, Wayne. On January 26, 2020, something bad happened inside the Stauch family home. Gannon suffered some burns. You'll learn this from a video recording this defendant made that night, January 26th. You'll hear her as she manipulated Gannon, putting guilt on him for some mistake that a child made. And in that recording, you'll hear Gannon say in his own words, "I'm just worried about my burns."
Two, I just don't know what to do.
Well, devastating. Initially, Scott, I can't lie when the TMZ information.
Gannon, I promise it's the last time I'm going to ask you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose? Okay, we promise. You promise. Pinky promise. Okay, all right, so listen. We're, all right, we're gonna have to sell stuff to fix it. Okay? So we figure out what we gotta sell. We can sell the sofa, we can sell whatever, because we gotta get it fixed. So lady, don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay? You got it? You got it?
I'm just worried about my.
Okay, shh, listen. So tomorrow,
The other person in this case is that last voice you just heard, who said so tomorrow. This lady sitting right here, the defendant. January 26, 2020, and into January 27, 2020, she was the sole provider for Gannon. Her husband, Al Stauch, Gannon's father, serves in the National Guard. He was in Oklahoma for National Guard training, left that Saturday night, the 25th. Everything that happened to Gannon from that point forward was her decision. She carried out actions to kill Gannon, to put his body in the suitcase and hide it, to hide evidence of what she did to Gannon. Told numerous stories to investigators to manipulate the course of the investigation. And finally, to discard Gannon inside that suitcase off of a Florida bridge like garbage. January 27, 2020, Gannon's home, located at 6627 Mandan Drive, here in Colorado Springs, Colorado, turned into the stuff of nightmares. In fact, the one place a little boy like Gannon should have felt the safest, his bedroom, turned into, like I said, the stuff of nightmares. That bedroom is in fact where he was brutally murdered. The defendant attacked him viciously, mercilessly,
That is an
deliberately,
understatement.
and intentionally. These are exhibits that you'll see from the doctor down in Florida, Dr. Ignacio.
Debbie,
when
that
she
I
performed the
will be
autopsy.
posting
He'll tell
a
you that Gannon suffered 18 stab wounds to his body, his chest,
sanitized thing every
his
day.
back, his head, and most importantly, his arms and his hands. Why is that important? Gannon was fighting for his
Great
life. in those
opening
defensive
statements. Of course they are.
Next came a crushing blow to his head that was so strong, it fractured his skull like an eggshell.
Ooh.
That wasn't enough for this defendant. He retrieved a 9mm handgun, fired it at Gannon 3 times. 2 bullets struck the pillow near him and were caught in the fibers of that pillow. That 3rd bullet entered his jaw, traveled through his head, fracturing his mandible, his vertebrae, hitting his spinal cord, and lodged in the back of his head and was recovered at autopsy. Gannon's life drained from his body, drop by drop. The photo that's on the screen right now is a picture of his bedroom. Same corner where he was in that picture, or where you'll see him in the picture in the bed. Each one of those markers signifies a small blood drop that splattered across his wall. It ran down the corner of his mattress, soaked through the carpet padding, and puddled on the concrete foundation below that carpet. The defendant then took very deliberate action. She decided to hide her crimes from the world. And she took action to hide those crimes from the world. She collected Gannon's bloody and broken body and the blankets and pillow that were near him and shoved them into a suitcase and hid them in the storage unit in that basement. That basement storage unit is right around the corner from Gannon's bedroom. What she didn't know is that she was leaving clues behind in that storage room. That plastic tub that you see in the bottom left portion of that picture has Gannon's blood on it. There was an Amazon box in that storage room that has Gannon's blood on it. The concrete floor in that storage room had Gannon's blood on it. The defendant next decided to clean Gannon's room. Deliberately, intentionally, knowing what she was doing. She scrubbed the walls, cleaning them off. She scrubbed the carpet with scrub brushes. that were later found in the dishwasher. Those scrub brushes have carpet fibers in them. They have blood on them. They have Gannon's DNA on them. This is Gannon's bedroom when members of the El Paso County Sheriff's Office first came to the house on January 27th in the evening hours. This is what it looked like. No obvious signs of a struggle. No obvious signs of blood as they walked through the house and through Gannon's bedroom. There were no obvious signs of a struggle or a murder because the defendant had cleaned them up. And also realized she had Gannon's blood on her person. Clothes that she was wearing, likely containing Gannon's blood, based off of how much blood had hit the walls, were never found. Her clothing was never found. These shoes, the defendant's shoes, were found on the washing machine, drying. That reddish rust color that you can see on the soles, Gannon's blood and DNA were found on those shoes. You can see just how much blood she was walking through as she was cleaning up that mess. Took more deliberate action. She collected and discarded other important clues. I mentioned she stabbed Gannon 18 times. The instrument that she used to stab Gannon has never been found. That 9mm handgun that she used to fire 3 rounds at Gannon, shell casing ejected out of that firearm each time she pulled the trigger. No shell casing was ever found in Gannon's room. She then took more deliberate action when she hid Gannon in a suitcase, first in her car, and then up north near the El Paso County, Douglas County line. GPS location data was used to track her locations or her movements. And it led to another grisly discovery up just in this area here. A board was found under a tree. That board had Gannon's blood on it. This is miles away from the Stauch family home, which is in the southeast part of the city, close to the airport. You'll learn through testimony that this board came from the Stauch family garage. Then took more deliberate and thoughtful action. She loaded the suitcase containing Gannon into the back of a rented van and drove to Florida. And that's the course of her travels from here to Florida. She rented a hotel room in Pensacola, Florida on February 4th, 2020. She drove a short distance from that hotel room, which is sort of by those blue angular marks on the map, up to where that red square is on the map. Drove a short distance from that hotel room, across a dark bridge that drives over a river that flows into the Gulf of Mexico. There she acted with determined purpose. Stopped that van. He hauled the suitcase out of the back of that van, drug it to the side of the road, hoisted it up over the railing, pushed it over the side, hoping that Gannon would never be found. 48 days later, 1,300 miles away from where Gannon was murdered, the search for answers in Gannon's remains finally ended on March 17, 2020, when the suitcase that came from that basement storage room, Gannon's remains, blankets, and the pillow were found by an unlucky bridge worker checking that bridge for safety. You can imagine the shock that he felt when he realized what was inside that suitcase. Inside that suitcase, obviously Gannon's decomposing remains. Also, these 2 blankets and that pillow. Remember the pictures that I showed just a moment ago of Gannon in bed?
This. We know, I mean,
These pictures were taken by this defendant on the morning of January 27, 2020. Sent them by text message to Gannon's father, Al, who was in Oklahoma for training. Take note of those blankets. Take note of the blankets that were recovered from that suitcase. The very same blankets and pillow that were in those pictures on January 27, 2020 were found 1,300 miles away with Gannon underneath that bridge. The defendant then purposely, intentionally came up with numerous different stories about what had happened. Gannon was missing. went to a friend's house and never returned. Gannon was kidnapped and she was raped by a guy named Eduardo. Gannon was kidnapped and she was raped, but this time by a guy named Quincy Brown. She went to look for a bike up near that Douglas County, El Paso County line. Gannon test rode that bike, crashed, and suffered a horrible head injury. And a guy named Quincy Brown takes Gannon, and now the defendant doesn't know where Gannon is. Cartels were somehow involved with Gannon's disappearance. And most cruelly, that Landon Hyatt, Gannon's mother, was involved with Gannon's disappearance. All of her actions were purposely designed by her to distance herself from what she did. Throw off investigators, buy her time, escape accountability for what she did to Gannon on January 27, 2020. At the conclusion of the evidence that we'll be presenting in this case, you'll be asked to determine whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty of the charges that we've leveled against her. You'll also be asked to determine whether she was sane or insane at the time that she killed Gannon. All of her decisions, all of her deliberate actions betray her claims of insanity. She knew that what she had done to Gannon was wrong. Why hide it? You'll hear her own voice through recorded phone calls and interviews. The evidence itself will prove her sanity. As jurors, part of your job will be to determine how much credibility, if any, you give to the witnesses. That same rule applies to expert witnesses. You'll get to hear from doctors. You'll get to hear from GPS expert witnesses. Lawyers get tongue-tied sometimes. And when they take the stand and take an oath, you get to judge whether what they are saying makes sense. Is it credible or not? And if it's not credible, you get to discard it. If it's credible, you can use it in your deliberations. But you all get to decide whether that credibility extends to that witness or not. The same will hold true for our expert witnesses and the defense expert witnesses. Get to hear from a doctor that will testify that the defendant was insane at the time of the murder of Gannon Stauch on January 27, 2020. With all expert witnesses, you should gauge what they're saying, measure it against the other evidence that you're hearing. Does it make sense or not? Like all expert witnesses, if it doesn't make sense, you can discard it. You'll also hear from others who knew her best. People that have the best opportunity to see how she was acting. Did she understand the difference between right and wrong? Could she form intent? People like Al Stauch, the man who was married to her. People like her brother, Dakota Lowry, who flew out here after Gannon went missing. And most importantly, her very own daughter, Harley Hunt. See, Harley Hunt was in the best position to know the defendant's state of mind, especially as it relates to when this crime occurred. He was the only other older person in the house. When Al left to Oklahoma, Harley Hunt was working. She's young, 17 years old at the time, thinking about going into the Air Force. But she becomes the defendant's closest confidant after the defendant killed Gannon Stauch. In fact, she also rode with the defendant on that van ride from Colorado Springs to Florida. She'll be able to tell you in her own words whether the defendant understood the difference between right and wrong, whether she could act intentionally or deliberately or not. And she'll tell you that she could on both counts. Remember, this case is about two people. Gannon had no choice what happened to him that day on January 27th. The other, this defendant, she held every single decision in her hands. She took deliberate, thoughtful action that ended a precious life and tore a family apart. Your job as jurors will be to listen intently to all of the evidence. Because even the most mundane evidence, it might seem inconsequential when you're listening, is being given to you purposely so that you can make the determinations you need to make as jurors. Did she understand the difference between right and wrong? Was she able to form a culpable mental state? Every single piece of evidence that comes from this chair will be used by you to make that determination. The next time I get to talk with you directly the way I'm doing right now, that'll mean we've concluded evidence. And we're giving closing arguments. At that time, both sides will get to ask you to make determinations based on what you all have heard. We're going to ask you to hold us to our burden of proof. The criminal justice system doesn't work if you don't hold us to our burden of proof. Our burden of proof is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. The things we have to prove are the elements of the crimes charged. We also have to disprove that the defendant is insane, meaning essentially we have to prove that she was sane. The evidence will do that for you. We will ask you to give justice to Gain and Stauch. We will ask you to find this defendant guilty for what she did to him more than 3 years ago. We'll ask you to find her guilty of murder in the first degree. Murder in the first degree of a child under 12 years of age. Tampering with a deceased human body for taking Gannon's body from that scene and transporting it across the country. And tampering with physical evidence. We'll ask you to convict her on each and every one of those charges. And the evidence will guide you towards those convictions. On January 27, 2020, 6:55 p.m., the defendant herself called 911. She called 911 to report that Gannon was missing and not come home. Call taker you'll hear ask the defendant,
Yes,
who was the last person
peanut butter
to see
level
Gannon?
crazy.
Who was the last person to see him? I guess me?
The evidence will show that she was the last person to see Gannon alive. The evidence will show that she was sane on January 27, 2020, when she ended Gannon's life. The evidence will show that she acted intentionally and deliberately when she took Gannon's life. And then we will ask you to
Nick, that she
convict her.
doesn't have the mental state to know what she did was
Thank you.
wrong at the time the
Defense?
crime was committed.
Mr. Cook?
Good afternoon, members of the jury. I talked to some of you during jury selection over the last couple of weeks. To some of you, I want to reintroduce myself. My name is Will Cook. I, along with Mr. Tellini, represent Letecia Stauch. Now, this is a very tough case. We looked at the jury questionnaires, prosecution. There was a lot of strong feelings. Questionnaires. Have you formed an opinion about Ms. Stauch? Got a lot of she's guilty. Got a few she's evil. People forming opinions about this case before they ever hear one shred of evidence. Because a defense attorney in this case is very worried when people have come in and they have preconceived notions of what's going on. With respect to the question on the paperwork that you got about insanity, what do you think about insanity? Is it valid? Something that's legitimate? A lot of people said insanity is just a way to get out of taking responsibility. It's an excuse. It doesn't exist. It's fake. Got a lot of that. So I, as the defense attorney, have two big problems in the case. I represent Ms. Stauch, who, according to a lot of jury questionnaires, is evil and guilty. And us raising insanity is a bunch of BS. A lot to deal with. been looking at this case for going on 3 years now. All the photos, I've seen all the reports Mr. Tellini has. It's a lot. What you saw on the board this afternoon, that's the PG stuff, the rated G information, photos you're going to see. For a general audience. Go forward in this case, you're going to see the autopsy photos. You're going to see the photos of when Gannon was brought out of the suitcase. And they're horrible. Horrible. It was an awful, awful thing that was done to Gannon. And I see Mr. Allen get up here and he's emotional, almost into tears talking about it. And I get it. I get it. What happened to that little 11-year-old boy is beyond description. The facts of this case. Awful. You know, it's so bad. This is a lost cause.
Did the audio just drop out?
Think.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He stopped. Or something.
I can't quit.
Okay.
I can't leave this courtroom. Got to do my job in this case. Mr. Tellini does. I can't just, after that opening statement, all the information I've seen, the photos, the smiling picture of Gannon, hearing about him being shot, stabbed multiple times. Hundreds of witnesses and 800 pieces of evidence that are going to come in.
They're going to essentially have to admit that she did it.
I
but
can't
didn't know
check
what
out
she was doing was wrong.
And just sit down and write
So
this
if
out.
you don't
fact, we
believe that
already have
she
admitted.
had no mental capacity, you've already admitted her guilt, essentially.
Though
I
they've
can't do it
already
because it
done that.
wouldn't be fair. Wouldn't be fair to the court system, the process, and it wouldn't be fair to Ms. Stauch.
And John, totally fair. I that's why I was covering it.
And I
knew
know
many
people will
wouldn't.
say, well, who gives a shit about what's fair for Ms. Stauch?
But people need to see
The
the
court
other
systems
side
do.
of the world too.
The law does. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights. The war fought over these things that we're dealing with today.
Caroline, she's had
Old
4
school laws, the presumption of
hearings,
innocence,
all found her.
right to remain silent. Stuff that comes all the way back from old Boston and Paul Revere riding through the streets on his horse going, the British are coming, the British are coming. Old stuff, and it matters. And once we decide something in the media, before you have heard one shred of
I see it
evidence,
too many times as the medical provider that was called out to the field. So
Well, they need another camera
Judge this
over in
case
front of the jury
before-
box, in my opinion.
anything has taken place, then all of that is lost. And we are truly a country that is no longer ruled by law, but by the media. I get it. We've lost. Mr. Tellini, we lost. Stauch, we lost. We have lost in the court of public opinion and the media. He's guilty. I get that.
You're essentially going to have to admit she's guilty, but didn't know what she was doing was wrong.
This is a court of law. As Judge Werner
So they're
said,
going to say she's guilty. She just didn't know it was
through
wrong.
those double doors there, this is a special place. This isn't the media. This isn't Facebook. Wash all of that away.
There's too many mens rea acts.
Don't try to get up and walk out of the courtroom before you started. Do your jobs. Listen to the evidence. When the evidence is complete, go back into the jury room and weigh the evidence. All I'm asking of you, just give us a fair shake. I can see it in your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you, as far as you're concerned, I could burn in hell for representing Miss Stauch. A lot of you won't even make eye contact with me. I might as well just be the devil himself up here running his mouth.
Yeah, I mean, John, it literally
I'm
becomes
not.
that you pretty much have to admit her guilt.
No different than
and
those
just
three
say
at that
she
table
doesn't
right
know
there.
what she's doing is wrong for NGRI to work.
Paid advocates. Werner, Jared Wadier says they are paid advocates. Leanie and I were paid advocates. They have their side of the story. And I
And it is
just
hard, and I know why most people aren't covering it, but
want to be heard.
I have seen the
our side
result
to
of
be
this
heard.
as a paramedic too many times to not show the ugliness.
And if at the end, guilty, but you weighed the evidence, you listened, you didn't prejudge the case, your biases, your sympathies, your prejudices that you had at the beginning of this trial, if you didn't let those come in,
Oh, John, he is. He is doing
We're
very
fair
well
and
in this
impartial.
situation.
but it's still guilty, I'll take that. I'll take that in a case like this. A lot of evidence. Very, very difficult case. Don't quit on me. Now,
Everyone deserves zealous
Mr.
representation.
Allen is right. He's a good attorney, well
Whether
spoken,
you agree or not.
the elected DA. This is going to come down to insanity. Maybe here. And was killed back in January 20. How do you figure that out? How do you look into the mind of a sick person and divine what they are thinking? Well, evidence, people's statements, observations, recorded statements, phone call, heard Miss Stauch talking on. That's good stuff. What else can you look at? Motive? Somebody's motive. Remember that word? Up every day during jury selection for the past 2 weeks by the prosecution. motive. You were told, and rightly so, by the prosecution that there is no requirement for the prosecution to prove
I'll give
motive.
my 2 cents
They're right.
intermittently, but I don't want to talk over them too much right now.
Does that mean that motive doesn't matter?
I have a note too, but we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that
Or
later.
does it not mean that? Even though jury instruction talking about insanity, the prosecution just put up on the board, talked about a motive or lack of motive could be a sign that there is insanity or not insanity. And it's in the jury instruction there. So it does matter. It's not required, but it matters. And it matters because it's evidence. You don't have a motive, that goes to show a lack of evidence. Say there's a couple people involved in a shooting and a murder out in the community. Paper reports it as a random, senseless act of violence. One person shot to death. Police investigate. They have 3 people that are suspects that were there at the scene at the time of the shooting. One problem for the investigators. Don't really have any other evidence. A week later, doing some good police work, they uncovered that one of the 3 people was a drug dealer who was ripped off the week before the shooting by the dead man. A lot of the money and drugs were stolen. All of a sudden, with that information, this random, senseless act of violence becomes a murder with a motive. It does matter. Could you? I don't.
You need to put it up. It's not hooked up yet. You can turn off the perimeter lights if you want. I'm not getting a feed come through. You are hooked up to the defense. Still not coming through. Oh, there you go. That's what you're looking for, right?
That's the photo. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will turn your attention to the 2 boards, screens. This fancy pointer that you were alluding to, Judge.
Camera. It needs to be turned so the room doesn't look like it's also it's can't do it major at a massive angle.
All right, we've got a photo here. We've got some familiar looking faces. Gannon, Letecia Stauch. Stepmom, stepson. Gannon's little sister in the back. Look at that. Looks like everybody's doing pretty good. Happy, sunny day. Maybe Miss Stauch is doing a selfie holding the camera out. Whatever. Win. And a win would have this photo been taken? The day before Gannon died. The day before he was killed. It wasn't a photo of evil, anger. The photo of someone, by all accounts, who was a loving stepmother. Care of Gannon. Gannon's father was on a deployment. Stauch worked as a teacher herself in the Whitefield School District, an elementary school teacher.
He was like a state away, not deployed.
Got a person that was, living
2 weeks a
Seemed
year
like
for drill. That's where he
American
was.
dream in a nice suburban house in Morrison Ranch, suburbs of Colorado Springs, Colorado.
They're gonna have a harder time with some of the premeditation issues she showed.
But behind those photos and Miles, Stauch. Oh,
Yeah, I did.
okay. Stauch was hiding
And his camera's driving me nuts.
Stauch was healing trauma and abuse that had been going on since she was a toddler. A troubled childhood. Mother wasn't really much of a mother. She had a line of stepdads or boyfriends or whatever. Her mother, come in and out, come in and out, in and out, in and out of her life. From the time she was 3 or 4 years old, Miss Stauch, until she finally moved out. And she suffered. She suffered horrifically from these stepfathers, these boyfriends of her mother.
I thought Miss Stout was a blonde. Because there's a brunette sitting over
No,
there.
she's got dark hair.
Okay, then the brunette up
Watched
against
her
the
mother
wall.
get beat by the boyfriends, physically abused, until eventually the physical abuse, these men reserved for her mother, eventually trained on style care. Girl. First, it was just physical
That's true,
beatings,
Creed.
whoopings,
I mean,
emotional abuse, verbal abuse,
she was
and then it
Googling
became sexual,
and renting cars.
where she was
Before she did.
molested regularly.
How old is this
5 or
lady?
6 on until she was a teenager.
40s.
Constant. She used to have to sleep in the car out in the driveway to get away, not have to molested and sexually assaulted by these men. Sleep in the car in the driveway of her house. Because her mom wasn't around a lot, kind of an absentee mom. A lot of these stepfathers, if you could call them that, cared for Miss Stauch exclusively. Mom was out somewhere doing something, gone for several weeks at a time. And Miss Stauch, as a young child and a young woman and a teenager, was left in the care of these men. How do you deal with this? You're 6, you're 7 years old. What do you do? physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. How does a kid handle that? Well,
See, that's why I need you, John.
a lot of people that have had bad childhoods go on and they're fine.
A bad childhood does not give
There's
you the
some that
license
don't.
to murder someone.
Is a survival mechanism. Some of these children's personalities fragment.
Oh my god, if she's even going to try the dissociative identity disorder, I'm going to lose weight.
And why do they do this? This fragmentation of the personalities when there's abuse at a
She's
young
gonna try
age.
DID, isn't she?
Because in the case
Now I'm
of
going to have to explain
Stauch,
DID.
her abuser was also the person that provided her means for survival. A 4, 5, 6-year-old kid does not go out and get a job and work and acquire their own food, pay the electric bill, pay the rent. So while they're being abused, they also, as a matter of survival, have to both hate and love, to fear and placate their abuser / caretaker. How does a person do that? Well, I think in a lot of situations, no one person can do that. That's where the fragmentation personality comes in. All the good and all the bad, all the evil and the hate can't reside in one place. And I know some of you, based on your jury questionnaires, think I'm telling some fanciful tale about this. I get it. I read the questionnaires. But as such, you have sworn an oath multiple times to follow the law and the evidence. Don't like
Creed public.
insanity or dissociative identity disorder.
Like I said, we're going to bust out DID, and now we're going to have a
That's
discussion
okay.
of the DSM-5.
Joke or excuse or not valid. That's okay. It's okay if you think that outside those doors. In here, you got to believe it's a legitimate mental health defense, that in fact it exists and
You do not have to believe
that it is scientifically backed. You're going to hear doctors,
have to
sworn
believe.
experts on both sides. So yeah, it's
You do
in
not
the
have to
DSM-4
believe it
or
exists.
5, which is the book of psychological ailments and issues psychologists and psychiatrists use to diagnose things. It's listed, accepted in the scientific community issue, a real issue, dissociative identity of multiple personalities. Now, whether you believe
The problem is she's
or their
already
experts believe,
negated
our
some of
expert
the
believes
things
about
you
whether
would
it was
need for
present in
DID.
this Stauch's case, different issue. But you must, to be fair, impartial, and unbiased, you must believe that it is a possible defense. It is a valid defense. It is a valid defect or disease of the mind.
You don't have to do anything.
that triggers the insanity provisions under the Colorado laws. Laws that trigger when we bring in some testimony
inclined to
or
agree.
some evidence that there is insanity, causes the rules, the laws to pivot. So that the prosecution has the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt.
At the break, I'll explain DID and the elements,
say.
guys.
In this case, circle back around. Why all of that just matters. Going back to motive.
Yes, it's having fun with the whole Doge thing.
Evidence. Exhibits, photos, videos. We're going to be in here for 8 weeks. School's going to be out. Making plans for our Labor Day
For nothing,
barbecues.
but they've already used two.
Barbecues by the time we get done. But you know what you're probably not going to hear? During all that time with all those exhibits, all that evidence. All those witnesses. You're not going to hear about a motive. You're not going to be given a motive about why Ms. Stauch. January 2020.
Creed, they've already used up 2 weeks.
Reason is
or at least 8
there
weeks.
is no motive. There is no reason.
They consider this a major thing over there. I wonder why.
Doesn't make sense. It's insane. Smiling photo. Next day, Shannon's gone.
I can imagine.
Okay.
No reason
No.
for it.
Croc, I'm taking it down.
Okay.
Prosecution may say, oh, well. Makes it that more tragic that it was such a pointless death of Gannon. I don't know. Not going to speculate on that. But there was some major psychotic crack that went on during this time. Go from teacher, loving stepmother to 2 children, loving mother to her own child, Harley, a person that Annan's father entrusted his own 2 kids, watched and loved and by this woman here.
They're going to put her on the stand, I'm betting.
Being a killer of an 11-year-old
They
boy.
have
How
to.
do you get there? Big jump.
They have to, given the facts.
There is no explanation for it. I don't have one. She broke on that day, ladies and gentlemen. She broke. Broke from all that was right. Made sense. And the acts, putting Cannon's body in a suitcase and traveling 1,300 miles. Full of Florida and throwing the suitcase, Cannon's body in it. Side of an overpass. Different stories she told. She was raped by somebody.
I mean, given what he has to work with, I'll
Person
give him
raped her,
20.
kidnapped
but
Cannon. Hear all the stories. The prosecution's going to play it for you.
They don't have, you know, anything decent to work with. So I'll give them credit for that. But
These are all signs and evidence
they're gonna have problems.
of a mind, a soul that is broken, most fundamental and profound way. So broken,
That is correct, E.E. Caroline.
doesn't even know what it was doing. What was going through that person's head? The killer Gannon's head. Stauch's head. All the stab wounds, the shootings, the bruisings, the beatings,
Correct me if I'm
the
wrong.
burns.
Poor Gannon.
What was going through that person's head?
What, Croc?
I see. I recall somewhere that
I don't know.
Gannon was
I don't
actually
know.
was very autistic.
He
I
was.
couldn't tell you.
He was on the spectrum, but he was not bad.
Where the person
You're
that she
thinking
was
of
killing
JJ
that
Vallow.
day,
The Vallow kid was very
attacking.
autistic.
Okay.
The
It
Vallow
wasn't
kid was
Gannon.
service dog.
Wasn't Gannon to her. Wake up that day and go, I'm going to kill him. No. She was killing the demons. Her life from the dark depths of her childhood and her life. And here, different doctors. We have a Dr. Dorothy Lewis. She's from Yale. She's been at it a long time. An MD. Got a lot of experience with this.
So she's actually a psychiatrist.
DID is
legal
such a
medical
problematic
opinion
thing to try to
Is
use.
that on the date of this offense, the Stauch was legally insane. Now, the prosecution is going to have some
We'll cover
witnesses
DID at break.
from our state mental hospital in Pueblo that I imagine are going to say, no, she was perfect. She knew what she was doing. It's normal behavior for a person to do that. Yeah, she had some mental issues and everything like that, but everybody does. And
Hello,
they
J.
don't go
Michael.
and kill an 11-year-old boy. And that is true. A lot of people do have mental health issues. It was talked about in voir dire. Will have very severe mental health issues.
Hey, J. Michael.
They don't go out and kill people.
She's trying to use the DID defense. So I'm gonna be busting out
They
the
don't go out
DSM-5
and
at
kill
break.
11-year-old boys or their stepsons. They had had a nice hike just the day before, as evidenced by that photo. Don't stab the stepson dozens of times. Discharged 3 bullets of a 9mm handgun at the boy, hitting him once, killing him once. Beat him, burn him, and do all these other things you're going to hear about. Wrong, and it's horrible. she not saying. And she will be held accountable. Not guilty by reason of insanity. We'll get a jury instruction. It's about a paragraph long. It indicates in that case, and I think Judge Warner alluded to it, to one panel of potential jurists in the last couple of weeks. She's found guilty, then it's guilty. She's subject to regular sentencing by the court. But if I'm not guilty by reason of insanity, doesn't mean she walks out of here. She's committed to the state hospital, Colorado Department of Human Services, and they take over from there, the state mental hospital. That's not what we're dealing with here now. So I know there is a natural urge, human urge, a real urge. You hear about that little boy with that big bright smile
Yes,
that you
Andy,
saw
it
on the
is.
screen. Hear about what happened to him. Want to make somebody pay.
It's all a lot, and we'll talk about GID at the break and
Want to
some
make
of the other
somebody
stuff.
pay dearly. Not right.
Patty, did we lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay. Gotta check on my Patty.
Awful.
I'm still here. I'm listening and trying to
Absorb.
absorb. Yes.
But not providing doubt, constitutional protections,
Oh,
for
she's
presumption
going
of
back.
innocence, the right to remain silent, placing the burden of proof squarely on the shoulders of the prosecutor,
So they're saying that they're not going to have her take the stand by that?
letting bias or sympathy come in and cloud your judgment.
He's
Not going to bring Gannon back. Prejudging the case by what you've heard in the media. It do no good. No, we have a tragedy here. And we know it's terrible. But just listen to the evidence, as I started out with. Don't check out. It's going to be easy. Went into week 6, hearing all these witnesses and looking at evidence. You're going to want to check out. You're going to want to form your decision soon in this case. But you can't do that. For the next 6 to 8 weeks while we're in this trial, can't form an opinion. Warner was telling you that. You're in an evidence gathering phase now. You're gathering the facts. Like good Warner's, Miss Denver omelets. This is the ingredient gathering stage. Okay? It's in the cooking stage. When you go back to the jury room after all the evidence is in, you start putting the ingredients together. For omelet, or just a ham and cheese omelet. Whether you've got a guilty, not guilty, or not guilty by reason of insanity, based on the evidence, the ingredients. When you're in the jury room, that's when you start putting it together. Just writing down, taking notes, taking it all in. That's why the judge mentioned several times to you today. I don't want y'all talking about the case amongst yourselves. Kind of a special, hidden, quiet place, this courtroom, especially you jurors. I don't want y'all talking about the case because that leads to deliberating and judgment. It's in the judgment phase. So, thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody, for coming back. We'll be spending a lot of time together over
Yes,
the next
Iris,
couple
that's
of
why
months.
I
So
said how much
keep an
caffeine I
open mind.
purchased.
Put a lot of the bad stuff out of your mind for now. What the prosecution has to say, hear what the defense has to say. At the end of this, as Mr. Allen said, when he's concluded his opening statement, he said, I'm going to come back in a couple months and ask you to find her guilty. I or Mr. Tellini in 2 months. I'm going to ask you to find her not guilty by reason of insanity. Now the trial starts. Had opening statements, you've had all that now. He said, and I said, it's not evidence. Projected up on the board and the videos and the audios that he played. That's not evidence. Remember what the judge said. If you had to deliver a verdict right now, it's not guilty. Woman right here is not guilty. He's presumed innocent. Not telling you to like it. I'm just telling you that's the way it is. I'm going to stop now because I'm running out of steam. But I really, really, really do appreciate your time. I know the judge, Hayes due, said earlier, you know, you're the ones that are making the sacrifice. You're the ones that, you know, are losing money because you're not able to go to
My
work.
caffeine and whiskey
That,
fund
you
is the
know,
one that's
your
really holding
workspaces, your
everybody
offices are idle.
after 2
You're
months.
going to be here for 2 months. What we do, this is where we work, all of us, the attorney. We pay.
I'm just gonna start buying out the damn Starbucks.
They're the ones that make
and,
the sacrifice
energy drink cases.
in this case. And I do appreciate it. And on behalf of my attorney, Mr. Tellini, I know he appreciates it. Thank you.
Todd, can you get the last perimeter light, please? I'm not sure which one it is.
Given the
Thank
fact,
you.
I think it was a decent
All right,
opening.
ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a little bit of roadmap as to what you can expect and where we go from here. As I said this morning, opening statements are not evidence. Their purpose is only to help you understand what the evidence will be. Keep in mind that in this case, as in every case, attorneys are paid advocates. Their job is to persuade you that evidence proves or does not prove a particular point. And as I said earlier, nothing an attorney says is evidence, and they do not take an oath to tell you the truth. Next, the prosecution will offer evidence. Evidence consists of the sworn testimony of the witnesses, the exhibits
Iris.
received in evidence, and stipulated, admitted, or judicially noticed facts. After the prosecution's evidence, the defendant may present evidence in her own behalf, but she is not required to do so. I want to remind you that the defendant is presumed to be innocent. The prosecution must prove the guilt of the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt. The defendant does not have to prove her innocence or call any witnesses or introduce any evidence. At the conclusion of the evidence, I will tell you the
explain
rules
in a
of law
minute.
which you are to use in reaching your verdict. I will read those rules of law to you, and you will be allowed to take them with you to the jury room during your deliberations. After you have heard all of the evidence and the instructions, the prosecution and the defense may make their closing arguments. Like opening statements, closing arguments are not evidence. The prosecuting attorney will have the opportunity to reply to the closing argument made by the defense. You will then go to the jury room to deliberate on a verdict. Your purpose as jurors is to decide what the facts are, and your decision must be based solely upon the evidence. It is my job to decide what rules of law apply to the case. You must follow all of the rules as I explain them to you. You may not follow some and ignore others.
I'll explain in a minute.
Even if you disagree with or do not understand the reasons for some of the rules, you must follow them. You will then apply these rules to the facts which you have determined from the evidence. In this way, you will determine whether the prosecution has proven the guilt of the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt. At times during the trial, attorneys may make objections. That's the part in the TV show or movie where one lawyer asks a question and the other one stands up and objects. On TV, the lawyers start to argue with each other, and then sometimes they go up to the bench and they argue with the judge. I know you're going to be surprised, but that doesn't happen in real life. The lawyers in this room have years of experience. They know that the procedure in this case is governed by a written set of rules that apply to all criminal cases called the Colorado Rules of Criminal Procedure. They also know that the evidentiary matters are governed by a written set of rules called the Colorado Rules of Evidence, which apply to all case proceedings, to all cases proceeding to trial. Watch the lawyers, and you will observe that what really happens is that an objection is made. I will ask for an explanation, something like grounds, for the objection, and the response from the attorney will be something like hearsay or foundation or relevance or 404. And most of the time, watch the attorneys closely, most of the time the attorneys will state an objection in 5 words or less. There's not a whole lot of arguing that's going on during that time period. And regardless, the argument is never directed to opposing counsel, because I'm the one making the ruling and not opposing counsel. So in reality, the lawyers rarely come up to the bench to argue a point, because all they need to do is reference the rule, case, or principle they are relying upon for their objection. In any event, the objection simply means that the lawyer is requesting that I make a decision on a particular rule of law. It is the duty of the lawyer to object to evidence which they believe may not be properly offered. Do not draw any conclusions from the objections or from my rulings on the objections. If I sustain an objection to a question,
I really
the
like
witness
this, Judge.
may not answer it.
Iris, your thoughts?
As jurors, you must draw no inferences
Inclined to
from the
agree.
question or speculate as to what the witness would have said if permitted to answer. At other times, I
really
may
like the
instruct you
control
not
he's
to consider a
showing
particular
of
statement that
the
was made.
entire courtroom already.
You must not consider any evidence to which an objection has been sustained or which I have instructed you to disregard. Such evidence is to be treated as if you had never seen or heard it. We talked about the notebooks that you have and the juror questions and the process for doing that.
No one's pro se here.
They know where to meet, Mr. Combs? They know where to meet in the morning? All right. Give us just a few minutes and we will get you the parking passes. They're on a lanyard, so keep them because that's what you'll need to get in and out of the juror parking lot. The issue about the truck. Haven't solved it yet. And there's a juror that cannot get into the parking garage because of size of vehicle. Who is that? Just raise your hand.
One juror
Don't leave yet.
lifted a truck out.
We'll talk to you. I mean, you can leave the courtroom, but don't leave the courthouse just yet. And for the rest of you, it's going to take just a couple of minutes, unless Todd, you want to run down there on my bookshelf. Do you know where that is? Okay. And so Todd, oh no, I mean, wait, Todd, come back. It's all good. There. So he's going to get you the lanyards with parking passes on them. Use them to come in, and we will talk with juror number 14 about what to do with your situation. We have a solution. Rachel, are you still here somewhere? Stick around. We need to talk. I think we can use the same solution that we did for the other juror that was coming back at 11. That work? Okay. All right. We have a solution, so just hold on and we will get to you. With that, if I can have everyone, you'll know where to meet Mr. Combs in the morning and how to get into the building. We should be able to start right on time tomorrow at 9 o'clock. What you can expect is that we will start with witnesses. We will take a break for 15 or 20 minutes, somewhere between 10 and 10:30. Then we will proceed on to lunch at noonish, come back 1:15, 1:30, have a break 15, 20 minutes, somewhere between 3 and 3:30 in the afternoon, then recess at 5 o'clock. That's how your day will look every day from here on out. The other thing that you should expect, so that it doesn't catch you off guard, is that every day that we start trial after today, well, I did it this morning actually, but every day that we start trial from here on out, I will ask you a question. And that is, it will be the same question every day. You're going to get sick of hearing it, but it's the same question that I'm going to be asking. Has anything occurred since we were last together that causes any of you to believe that you could not continue to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case? If so, please raise your hand. So that's why those admonitions that I said about avoiding press, avoiding opinions, avoiding research, all of those things, they all come into play. It's important. This is an important process. So with that, your discharge, we'll see you in the morning. All rise for the jury, please.
I really like this
the
judge.
only one that I
He's
knew
very
of
clear.
was
He's very
Juror 3.
concise.
Before you step out real quick, does anybody aside from juror 3 need a letter?
He's very good about,
Okay.
they're not going
All
to
right, we got it.
argue.
Thank you.
This is what they're going to do. This is,
Juror
what they're
16
going to
and juror
say.
3.
This is what objections are. This isn't TV. They can't talk to each other. This is the law. This is my job. It's my job to decide this. This is your job as a juror to decide that. And he's very clear in showing a lot of control over the courtroom already. That he's not going to tolerate things. And hopefully he can keep it up. But I think in a case like
Thank you. You may all be seated. Record should reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Mr. Allen, I want to clear up one thing on the record.
Debbie, we'll start with them tomorrow.
Because I think it's an issue in, where is this? Where's it listed at though? Huh, okay. I just want to make sure that the count that you are dismissing is count 3, child abuse resulting in death.
Correct. So count 1 is murder in the first degree. 2 is child under 12. 3 is the child abuse resulting in.
Okay.
That's the one that requires an accumulation of injuries, all that kind of thing. Not provided. That was charged before Gainer's body was ever recovered. When Gainer's body was recovered, we added 1, which is now murder in the first degree.
Okay. So this would have been, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's count 3 of the amended information.
Okay, and that's what I wanted to check on, because the original complaint information that was filed on March 11 only has 4 counts, and count 3 is tampering with a deceased human body. In that one, count 2 is the child abuse resulting in death.
Yeah, no,
So
Debbie.
it looks like what happened, they didn't
before they
realize the
got
amendment, and when they put it in, that's what the conflict is.
The amendment was filed probably March 18th, roughly.
They knew he was deceased before they found
I
out.
have March 20. Yep. Okay. So what you are proposing to dismiss is the one knowingly or recklessly caused an injury or unreasonably placed in a situation that posed a threat of injury to life, health, or safety by engaging in a continued pattern of conduct that resulted in cruel punishment, mistreatment, and accumulation of injuries. That's the one you're wanting to dismiss.
So count 3 in the amended information.
It's the amended information. That's where the hang up is. Okay, I think we've got that resolved. Okay, so have your witnesses here, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We should be able to start right on time at that point. And Rachel, I want to talk to you when we're done. Is there anything else that we need to address from the prosecution? Defense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Rachel, can you come back in the back hallway for a minute, please? All right, court will be in recess. Thank you.
I really like this judge. Thoughts, guys?
I'm in agreement. This guy's got control over his courtroom. He's not sitting there playing with his phone. He is paying attention, and he seems to be staying awake, with all of which are good.
He's nice to listen to, but I mean, Patty, thoughts?
He's very diligent in the words that he's using. He's very specific on what he says, and he is not in a hurry to push his statements out to the jury or to the defense and prosecution, so that he is perfectly understood as to what is going to happen and when. He's very no nonsense.
Yeah,
And for how long?
Yeah, I mean that's yet to be seen. But I like that he, went over. You may see this is how like the objection thing goes on TV. That's not how it is, and this is why, and covers it. I like that he is taking control from the word go and saying, this is how you act, this is how you don't act. This is what will happen, this is what will not happen. And just already from like the word go, trying to keep the reins, unlike with Brooks, where yes, Duro was trying to protect the record, but you knew from the word go that it was going to become a circus. He's like, nah, what we're not doing today is this. That's what we're not going to do.
You're supposed to give a pro se a bit of latitude because they're not experts.
Well, she's not pro se, but okay. So here's the thing, guys. And I said I would explain this. They are saying they are going to bring in a defense of dissociative identity disorder, DID. This is going to be problematic. Dissociative identity disorder is a highly, highly contested psychiatric illness. Statistically, only about half or even less than half of mental health professionals think it exists. What DID is, in those that feel it exists, is that as a result of childhood trauma, very young childhood trauma, the personality fragments as a way to self-protect, right? But here's... Where did I put it? Here we go. Here's the problem. The criteria for dissociative identity disorder, okay? There's 5 criteria. You need to have 2 or more distinct identities or personality states present, each with its own relatively enduring pattern of perceiving, relating to, and thinking about the environment and self. According to the DSM-5, you know what? We're going to do it this way. Give me 1 second. According to the DSM-5, personality states may be seen as an experience of possession. These states involve a marked discontinuity and sense of self and sense of agency, accompanied by related alterations in affect, behavior, consciousness, memory, perception, cognition, and or sensory motor functioning. These signs and symptoms may be observed by others or reported by the individual. One important change from the 4th to the 5th edition is that the individuals may now report their perception of personality shifts rather than limiting diagnosis to shift that others must report. Second criterion is amnesia must occur, defined as gaps in the recall of everyday events, important personal information, or traumatic events. This criteria for DID newly recognizes that amnesia doesn't just occur for traumatic events, but rather everyday events. The person must be distressed by disorder or have trouble functioning in one or more major life areas. This criterion is common among all serious mental illness diagnoses, as diagnosis is not appropriate where the symptoms do not create distress and or trouble functioning. The disturbance is not part of normal culture or religious practice. The symptoms are not due to direct psychological effects of a substance, and you can't have substance use disorder going on at the same time. So the thing with DID is going to be amnesia. Everybody that has DID or people that have it, they're generally referred to as a system, and there's like a host personality and the dissociated ones. The problem is they do not know each other. They know that there's a host most of the time, but they are independent, and it is extremely rare, even amongst mental health professionals who agree that DID exists, that the different personalities of the system know of each other or interact. Generally, they know of the host, but they don't interact. They don't coexist. And the problem is you have to show there's amnesia and that one personality or someone's fronting is totally independent of the other. The whole multiple personalities. And generally, the personalities, like you'll see one's a protectorant, one is a child and naive. Like they are very different and they're very unique. But you don't have DID that just occurs once with a single psychotic break. As far as I know, and they may bring this out, but as far as I know, there haven't been any other reported instances in her life where she doesn't know that the different systems, personalities of part of a system have taken over. Like, nobody's reporting this. She rented a car. She had her older child drive her car to a Massage Envy parking lot, take her to the airport to pick up a car, go get cleaning supplies, return her from the airport. Like, there's a lot. And, you're talking about, Anubis kind of, but you have fronting personalities, and she doesn't show that. What she shows is more a it's going to be easier to argue psychotic break than it is DID. Especially since there's such a high bar and low percentage of providers that buy into DID fully. And there are explanations and times she's shown psychotic breaks, but you heard those letters I wrote. At no point is she saying, I don't remember what happened. She doesn't describe amnesia in anything. She blames it on another person and even tries to set up and frame somebody. if you have DID, you would not be giving somebody a name. You would not be actively attempting to create alibis and hiding where your car is because of mileage. She told her husband the reason she was renting a car is her leased vehicle and the mileage. You know, the switching of alters. DID is very drastic. Yeah, delusional. She's more psychotic break if you're going to try to argue that with mental health. But again, you can't argue DID if you don't have amnesia. And I have never once in any one of her interviews heard her say, I don't know what happened from this time to this time. She said, this person made me do it. This person kidnapped me. This person raped me. This person's poisoning me. She's acting delusional. The thing is, there's a difference between the legal definition of insanity and a mental health disorder. Under the law, for somebody to be found not guilty by reason of insanity, they have to be able to prove there's no mens rea. They did not, which is a guilty mind, that they did not know what they were doing at the time was wrong. No, Caroline, that's not correct. I'll explain in a minute. That they didn't know their action was wrong. So, like, yeah, I murdered him, but the voice in my head said if I didn't murder them, they were murdering me. And they are that schizophrenic. Like the guy that shot, Hinckley, that just got out after how much time in a mental hospital. I think it was Hinckley. Croc, Patty, am I right?
You were right.
Yeah, I was convinced I was in a relationship with a celebrity. They told me to do it. I was going to be with them if I just did this. He's not saying that. So you have to be able to prove that you did not know what you were doing is wrong, and you essentially have to admit to the crime. But prove you had no idea what you did was wrong because you were that out of your mind. You can be schizophrenic, you can be bipolar, you can have DID. But you have to show that you didn't know what you did at the time of the crime was wrong. She researched this. She rented cars. She did searches online. She had her daughter pick up chemicals. She cleaned the house. She swapped cars. She gave alibis. She claimed she had a job. She called out sick from her new job. There's a lot that shows that she knew that she has mens rea issues. That doesn't mean she's not mentally ill, but it doesn't mean she's not guilty by reason of insanity. NGRI and mental illness are not the same thing. And that's the problem a lot of people have. They're like, well, she's mentally ill. Oh, she might be completely out her gourd mentally ill. That doesn't mean she didn't know what was wrong. And a lot of her actions show a guilty conscience. Can you use mental illness to try to mitigate? Yes. But that doesn't mean NGRI. You use it to knock it down from like premeditated murder or capital murder to manslaughter. You use it as a mitigating circumstance to drop the level of felony, not to show you didn't know what you were doing is wrong. And that's going to be the problem, because they're literally going to have to admit she did it to get away with NGRI. You cannot say
That was her thing done by me. Yes.
yeah, and that's the thing. You have to be like, yeah, I did it, but I didn't know. And she has had multiple psychiatric evaluations that say she is and here's the other thing, guys.
Well, see you soon, Mayor McNum.
Hi, Mayor.
Yeah.
Talk to you
Um,
later.
Here's the other thing, right? You have to say with things like NGRI, I didn't know what I was doing was wrong. Here's why. Here's proof. But people seem to be mistaking this for you're not mentally ill and competency. So here's the difference. Competent to stand trial, like with Lori Vallow. Competent to stand trial means that you are incapable of helping with your defense and you don't know what's going on. And you're incapable with understanding what is happening and how to actively participate in your own defense. That is completely and totally separate from having the mens rea at the time you committed the crime. Those two things are not the same. So while we laughed at her last night when we read those, like the peanut butter thing, she could be bag of cats crazy. Doesn't mean she's NGRI. It has one has no bearing on the other. And in all honesty, it would be easier to prove first break psychosis, which means she was schizophrenic and this was her first psychotic break, as an explanation for why you don't see other psychotic breaks. Because there is such a thing as an extreme first break psychosis in things like schizophrenia, where you don't have the initial first break, kind of thing. So it's like you're gonna have to separate. I did it, but I didn't know I did it was wrong. Like what I was doing was wrong. From I'm batshit crazy and can't assist in my own defense. If you're batshit crazy and can't assist in your own defense, and you're gonna go get help, they're gonna forcibly medicate you like Lori Vallow. And as soon as they restore you to enough competency that you can assist in your own defense, you go on to trial. Totally separate from NGRI. That's the problem. So, you have to divorce those two psychiatric concepts in your mind, if that makes sense. And it's really hard for people that aren't medical to understand that mental illness does not justify or make you not know what you're doing is wrong. It's not okay. It doesn't justify it. And it doesn't mean you didn't know it was wrong. It just gives a reason as to why you did it. It also doesn't mean if you did something on a first break psychosis and you can prove, like NGRI, she really didn't know it was a first break psychosis with schizophrenia, okay? Or bipolar, a first break psychotic episode. It's easier to show that, or to say that that's what she was doing in jail, than it is to show that she didn't know what she was doing at the time the crime was committed. They're very different. And you have to get people to separate them and not try to say, well, her mental illness made her kill someone and not know it's wrong. And she didn't have the mens rea. And that's the problem. You know, it's just, you know. So yeah, she goes to the mental hospital. They're like, she's sane to stand trial. That has nothing to do with her mental state at the time of the crime. That just means she knows what's going on right now and can help in her own defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, you know, during jury selection, they're like, well, you know, the stuff from the mental hospital shows our latest mental health person said she's not sane. Okay, great. That doesn't mean anything about her mental state at the time she committed it. They're not the same thing. So yeah, she's going to proceed to trial. Because she with it enough now. And the bar for sanity to stand trial is so low. Do you know you're on trial? What is a judge? What is a defendant? What is a jury? It is like pretty much you can tell who the people in a courtroom are. You know what you're on trial for. Pretty much it. It's a really low bar. Yeah, really low. Really, really low bar. Unfortunately. And one you can forcibly medicate.
Yep.
And DID is far harder to prove. The majority of mental health professionals don't even believe it exists. Or that it is so much rarer than people are like on about. Like Trisha Paytas and that whole like switching alters on camera dramatic crap. So yes, we're gonna have lots of psych professionals arguing that we're going to see, but I think it'll be fairly interesting because you're going to watch them argue if a disease even exists. And you're going to have to watch them argue, does she have that? And what other clinical diagnoses does she have? And when I read you that criteria, remember, one of them is you cannot have another mental health condition that causes similar symptoms. So if she's bipolar or schizophrenic, you can't use it for the DID criteria. Because then you are literally DID is an exclusionary kind of thing in a way. So nothing else can explain it. But she's got schizophrenia or bipolar. And how do I know that she has another mental health disorder? And I will say right here and right now, I have never met her. I'm not diagnosing her. The only people that can diagnose her are mental health professionals that have met with her in person. You cannot diagnose somebody over the internet. There are entire rules about it and ethical issues. So we're going to go with that one. You can speculate, and I don't mind speculation. I know Emily does not allow for it in her chat. If you want to say, I feel she's schizophrenic, you may, and you may discuss it. But what I won't have is people stigmatizing legitimate mental health things, right? So we're going to be kind in that regard. We can discuss it. We can say we think someone's crazy. We can say we think Patty and Loki are delusional for thinking Opal exists. And they're married to a dragon. That's fine. You can speculate that Patty and I are delusional because of Opal.
And they'd probably be right.
I'm just saying. We're delusional.
Sorry, I apologize. That was bad.
No, you're good.
I've seen his scales. I know he exists. It's okay.
I'm just, I'm just saying. I mean, we have to bring a little bit of levity to something.
Of course.
because otherwise we're not going to get through this without one of us or me becoming an alcoholic or insane. Most likely me. But, you know, you can say I think she's delusional, but what we're not going to do is be like she's batshit crazy and that makes her a bad person. Just because you're schizophrenic, you're not a bad person. The majority of people with mental health disorders are not violent. And Debbie, he might not be narcissistic. He might show traits of narcissistic personality disorder, but having traits and being diagnosed with things are different. You're unclear about Opal. Okay, hold on. So, let me clear this up for those that are new. Croc and I and Patty all met because of uncivil law.
Yes.
When I started my own channel, yes, J. Michael. J. Michael, you and I
Yes,
need to
2
talk.
months.
Yeah, 8 weeks. J. Michael, you and I need to talk later because I want to talk to you about you and I doing a medical explanation stream with some of this. Because I think both of our perspectives in dealing with mental health as healthcare providers, inpatient and outpatient and pre-hospitally, I want you and I to discuss that. So make sure you catch me. When I left off my own channel, they had followed over to see and hear me talk about guns. Croc and I became good friends, and Croc was helping me. And I joined Croc's Discord. In Croc's Discord, he is a member of what he calls the Snark Patrol, whose name is Opal. And the Opal just goes by an avatar of a dragon, and Opal says he's a Canadian dragon. So we joke that we all love Opal, and Opal's obviously a person, not a dragon. But he says he's a dragon, and dragons aren't real. So that's what the Opal thing is. He's our fictional dragon, but he's an actual person. That's
And
the
he's
Opal.
also he's also a big sweetheart,
Yeah, he's the biggest
which
sweetheart.
is why we love him and we're willing to share him because there is enough sweet in that man for 10 women.
Right, and Opal also always jokes that like he wants to die laughing. Like Opal is up to like do to just he likes to laugh at everything. So that's the whole Opal thing.
Yep, that is
Because
definitely
he
an
thinks
Opal
it's funny and it's like a challenge
Debbie, I was brought on to Lord Croco Skwerl
by me.
because as a mod, because I was one of Loki's mods, and Opal and I got to talking, he decided I needed to be on Snark Patrol.
Right,
And
so then
yeah.
Opal joined.
Opalina is the online presence that Opal has when he is in chat.
Mm-hmm.
And he is not an alternate, he is OG. He's
Yeah.
the old guard Snark Patrol with Thomas.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just a friend. But so back to what I was saying, they're going to have to show and what I won't tolerate in chat is everyone being like everybody that's crazy is a murder. Everyone with schizophrenia is a murderer. No. It's a very small percentage of people with mental health disorders that are actually violent. We're not going to stigmatize mental health. So that's the only place I'm going to draw the line. Like you can be like, oh yeah, Daryl Brooks is narcissistic. Daryl Brooks shows psychotic trait. Like that's cool. But we're not going to stigmatize mental health in general. That's my only thing. Because everybody has mental health struggles at some point.
Yeah, it's okay to have some mental health struggles. We all
Everybody
do.
does.
We all do. And it's like if you're having a tough day dealing with life, okay, that's fine.
Right. I just want to be clear from the get-go, kind of like the judge. Because if I'm sure we will draw viewers and people that aren't new here. And I'm sure at some point, part of my OG crew, I'm gonna be like, hey, add a mod or two. And they could, I'm cool with people discussing mental health and things. Just we're not gonna stigmatize everybody with schizophrenia or everybody with a mental health issue as
Yeah, I have a
violent or
list.
bad. You
I've
can
generated a list.
go after Letecia. Just don't make it everybody, if that makes sense. Fair? What do you guys think?
I
Correct?
was
Yes,
just going to
no?
say that I have a list of I have a list of people that should make decent mods.
Right, but I'm just saying, just in general. Yeah, I know EDB doesn't even allow that. I will allow the discussion of saying somebody shows traits off. You can even say, I think they're narcissistic. You can't formally diagnose them. And I don't care if you're like, I think he's schizophrenic. Okay, cool, whatever. As long as you don't start
Making assumptions.
no, not even making assumptions. As long as you don't demonize mental health. Like all schizophrenic people are violent. All narcissists are bad people. As long as you don't stigmatize everybody with mental health or a certain mental health disorder. As long as you are only talking about Letecia Stauch's mental health, I don't care. I will only say something if we are, stigmatizing an entire group kind of thing. Because mental health has enough stigma. We don't need to add to it. So go ahead. His mental health, her mental health's up for debate. Go for it. But don't be calling each other shit in life. I don't want to see Debbie calling Mayor Wrench, a psychotic schizophrenic gnome. Go ahead and call Letecia back, but not your fellow chat member. Kind of fair? What do you guys think?
That sounds fair to me. I mean,
It's
I'll be the first person to admit that I'm a freaking nutcase. But then I'm a squirrel.
You're a
should
squirrel.
expect
By
that.
definition. But I mean, it's our layer, and I generally get to. It's my layer, and in general, I do roll my layer how I do. But again, I am okay with debating her mental health. Debbie, just because you were the next name in the chat right above it.
I actually just put a explanation to her of what we mean. Like we can't say that all women named Debbie have PTSD and uncontrolled rage, but we could say, this one Debbie, she does have instances where she's symptomatic of having PTSD and uncontrolled rage.
Yeah, Debbie, it was nothing personal. It was literally just the next name in the chat. This is absolutely nothing. It just you two were like next. It just happened to be the two names I saw on the screen.
Yeah.
And for the record,
Anubis, we just call you when we need your humor and quiplash.
Of course.
But
and yeah.
No, I just don't like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like when people go after each other and call each other names in my chat.
Rude. Really? You're funny.
I keep it, cool in that way. But hey, go
Not
ahead
all
and
Patties are
speculate about
sweethearts
Letecia.
either.
Y'all can have at her, but we're not going to call each other names in the chat.
Yeah, let's not say we did.
But I'm just saying, I'm setting ground rules from the word go. We love you, Debbie.
I mean, you're fine.
Debbie, we love you.
We love all
actually
we love
like you. We love you. You're very much a part of the family, or I wouldn't say I will live stream with you and help you.
Thomas is the man of 100 voices.
Yes. This is a known thing.
And they all live in his head.
It's all good. I'm just, we love you guys, and I love you guys, and that's why I have said I will defend my beasties till the end. While I don't generally block people or yeet them, and it takes a lot, people coming after my OGs and my lifelong Glare members have a much shorter, much tighter reign. That. But no, we love you, Debbie.
Yeah, Debbie, come over to the Discord and hang out.
Yeah, come hang
I
out,
spent
chat.
about an hour with Texas Mama Bear yesterday on a one-on-one conversation. You're welcome to come over there and hang out.
Yeah,
We
come
like
hang
having people
out.
hang.
We love to.
Yeah.
Because those things are
The Lair's a happy place. I mean, I work hard to make sure that that's why I say I'm not EDB level sensitive. I'm not Ricada level crass. Like I try to keep it an adult space and a fairly
yes, Mayor, I like that one.
Yeah, not all Karens ask for a manager. I try to keep everything fairly tight.
Debbie, I love you so much that I have you in my phone and I text you when we're doing stuff and I call you.
I mean, everybody has their struggles, and yeah, I did call Kurt out for his behavior and the berating.
God love
Of
gluten-free
people.
supper heroes.
I did. But that doesn't make him an inherently bad person. I just have issues with him. And we can be mad at each other. We could get pissed off at the way someone acts on a stream, but that doesn't mean we don't like them as a person. You can be mad at something another Lair member says or does, or a way they act, or how they treat us one day, but that doesn't mean it wasn't just an off day. Everybody has off days.
Yep.
Everybody has bad days. But that's not who you are, and that's not your identity. Right?
Okay, so somebody asked one question and they got 3 yeses and a well.
So.
Wow, Creed.
And
depression is very well documented.
Yeah. So, like I said, I will try to post a nightly kind of summation. So, like, Debbie, if there's a day you can't handle watching the trial because of whatever, I'm going to try to post a nightly summation that's like a short version that's somewhat sanitized if the day's testimony is too hard for people to listen to. Because it's going to get hard.
Not quite the same thing there, Mayor McNeil.
So. Okay. Well, I'm going to run downstairs and have dinner. Croc, wanna do me a favor? Pop up like a 9 o'clock, a 9 o'clock stream, and we'll play a couple rounds of Quiplash then.
9 o'clock tonight? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See you.
Okay, we'll see you guys for Quiplash later. I'm going to go feed little people and eat real quick. Love you all. I'll see you guys later.
Love you, everyone. Be safe. See you at 9.